to be fair, but
I mean, talk about yourself. Talk about your politics. Talk about how you got to where you got. Your mindset about politics. I don't know. Maybe tell us about your philosophy on life and politics. That's what we're here. That's what we're here for. We want to hear from you, man.
um, sorry, I'm just making sure I have this stuff up real quick.
Hello, Victor.
Okay, yeah, I'm just like a libtard. Okay, that's
So you
all.
just you're gonna call yourself that? Should I call myself a Republican?
If you want to, it's totally up to you.
Sure, I'll call myself a Republican then.
Pace.
But yeah, what made you a libtard? Were you always a libtard? It sounds like I'm insulting you. I'm really not trying to, but you just called yourself a libtard. But what made you become a libtard, or were you always a libtard?
Um, in like 2017 or whatever, I was 17 at that age, and I was like MAGA, but
Really?
just kind of
Every
moved out of
single
it.
person comes in here and says they're MAGA, but I don't know, man. Like Lillian, you really think Lillian is MAGA? Or do you think he was told to vote for her?
Whoa, how did I do that? Let me
You
go
click the
on.
green screen button.
My bad. I've
No,
never
you're
done
good,
this
man.
before.
It's okay.
No, I don't think they have any clue what they're talking about whatsoever.
Oh, okay. So, well, at least we can agree on that, man. We have a common enemy, man. Lillian. We can find some common ground on disliking Lillian as a whole. But Lillian, if you're watching, I don't actually hate you, man. You crack me up sometimes. It's just you're wrong about everything. That's pretty much it. I
Yeah, I
don't
wouldn't say
have
they're an
anything
enemy. I
against
think
you.
they're too like stupid to be an enemy.
Yeah, no. I was exaggerating right there. I was just finding common ground, cracking jokes. Hello, Gina. Hello, Victor. Hello, Billy Bob. So tell us, you were 17, you were a Trump supporter. Why did you support Trump and not support Trump anymore?
I think that at that point it was just kind of just being edgy.
Just being
It just felt
edgy.
like counterculture stuff. Yeah.
Now you're a part of the new counterculture, yeah?
I wouldn't say it's the new counterculture. I'd say I probably just like found a position that I like felt kind of comfortable in. Um, yeah, and I feel like I try to principally hold to my values, generally speaking. Yeah, to the
That's
best of my
good.
ability. Yeah.
Yeah, I respect that. What's up, Jason? What's up? Who is this cat? He's in the Discord. I mean, his name is. Can I say your name? Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, Hunter. His name's Hunter. He saw the debate last night. He said that dude was a complete idiot, which I agree with. But he also has opposing views at the same time. But yeah, that dude was a douchebag, honestly. I still want to ban Lillian. Nah, man, Lillian's a good joke. What do you think? Should we ban Lillian?
That's totally. I have a high tolerance for people that I'm around, so I don't.
Yeah,
It's
I do too.
very rare that I ban people.
But other people don't have a high tolerance. But yeah. So I mean, tell us some of your positions. We can get into the ice thing. I want to talk about the ice thing. Obviously, I want to talk
My
about the ice
position
situation.
on the ice thing
Well,
specifically.
you can tell us your political positions. I don't know. You can tell us your stance with immigration. I mean, I don't think you're open border, but who knows? You can just tell us.
Um, stances generally.
How
Um,
do you feel about border policy? Your title says classical liberal, so that's why I'm wondering if you are like, a classical liberal that doesn't like immigration, or you're an illegal alien immigrant lover. You love radical Islamists coming in here, snatching up women and children left and right. I'm just like, curious.
I'm pretty generally pretty favorable towards immigration. Like I don't see like a
Legal immigration or illegals? Would you deport anybody, or would you not deport anybody? Open borders or closed borders?
closed borders. I would deport people. Yeah, for sure. Probably should be here legally. Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
you are a
mean,
classical liberal. You are a classical liberal. You don't love you would deport people that I don't even know what we're arguing about. You're like an Obama supporter, yeah? You'd be like an Obama guy.
he was a little bit before my time,
Yeah, I know. We're like
so
the
I'm
same
not like
age.
super familiar with like his policies, but his vibe is really cool. I fuck with his vibe.
A black man, the first black president.
I don't know about the black part necessarily, but like the
The
his
Canadian
style,
part. The,
his
the, the,
cadence.
his super low voice. I can't even make a Barack Obama impression. First Molotov. What the fuck does that mean? Mulatto. He says first
Mulatto.
mulatto. Yeah. Still don't know what the fuck mulatto means, but I guess it's like a mixed black person or something.
Is it? What is
I'm
mulatto?
less white than Obama. Yeah, well, you look more white time. What kind of shit is that?
What?
Johnny's comment. BBC question mark? You mean the British broadcast channel?
I think you might mean something else.
Oh, I don't know. That might be something you're into. I don't like that.
Well, I think he's just referencing that because of the Obama talk.
Yeah, I know. Reagan was an amazing president, but Trump is better. Were you alive during Reagan, sir? So what are
Me?
you opposing Trump on? What happened to racist Gandalf? Dude, he went to bed. If you cared so much about racist Gandalf, you should have shown him love when he was in chat. When he was in the stream earlier. You should have smashed that like button and shown him love. But yeah, why do you stand against Trump now?
I think what he's doing is ultimately leading to a worse outcome for our country, for our people, for um, other nations.
Super generalized. Give some specific things. You said you're for deporting illegal immigrants. Do you think his 3 million deportations was good?
I'm not even sure if I can trust the numbers that he presents. So, like, I
Why?
don't even know. Because they've constantly shown that they're willing to lie about like
Like what?
many things. Like this Renee Good
What did they
example.
lie about Renee Good?
Whenever Kristi Noem came out specifically and said that she was a domestic terrorist, I'd say
Well,
that's a lie.
would you like to read the definition of domestic terrorism? And
Yeah,
by
we
the
can do
way,
that.
they warned people that interfere with federal law enforcement. The DHS, Tom Homan said, if you interfere with ICE and you try to block any federal law enforcement, you're going to be charged with domestic terrorism. And domestic terrorism is a very, very broad law that can be used in a lot of ways. But let me pull up the definition of domestic terrorism. But I don't
Okay.
think that was a lie. Domestic terrorism. I'm just going to use Siri for that because I'm too lazy to type and I have my coffee right here. Domestic terrorism law targets ideological driven violence within the United States. Would you say that that's what she did? She was ideological. Oh, fuck, tongue twisting right now. She was driven by an ideology.
I don't know if we know like I don't know if we know that for sure yet. There hasn't been like an
Well,
investigation formally done into this
well, she was
case.
definitely. You don't think she was a Democrat?
No, I think she was a Democrat. Yeah.
So that is an ideology, isn't it?
Um, does any time that anybody does something that's a part of a political
That's
party,
a
does that
political
necessarily mean that it's
ideology.
ideological? Yeah, but
Or
we don't know. We don't
that's
know.
a
We don't have
political
any like.
ideology.
Well, we
And
don't
she
have
was
any
part
formal.
of an anti-ICE watch group. Are you familiar with that as well?
I've heard allegations of it, but there hasn't been any like formal investigation done
Well, I've
into it.
seen photos of her at an anti ICE protest before, so I mean that shows me that that's part of an ideology. But we can agree to disagree. But I didn't even finish the definition. Uh, Terrorism laws targets driven by ideology, driven with violence within the U.S., defined by federal statutes as violating state or federal law intended to coerce civilians or influence government policies through intimidation, coercion, or mass destruction, assassination, or kidnapping, but not linked to the foreign terrorist organizations. So how is she not a domestic terrorist with that
Well,
definition?
real quick, by that definition, would you also say that Ashley Babbitt is a domestic terrorist?
What? First off, what was she doing? What was Ashley Babbitt doing that was intimidation, coercion, or mass destruction? Or well, she broke a window, so maybe. I'm not here to defend Ashley Babbitt. She was definitely a
Sure, but I
criminal.
just want to make sure the standard would be like consistent whenever you're
Well,
talking
it's
about
two different
ideological
court cases.
lines.
It's two different court cases. One
Well,
was
there
a
hasn't been a court case for this one, right?
it's two cases. Neither of them are gonna have. I mean, the officer will have a court case, but neither of the people that did the crime are gonna have a court case. But Ashley Babbitt didn't have a weapon. First off, that's one major difference.
Didn't she have like a pocket knife?
No, she didn't have any weapon.
You're telling me she didn't have a pocket knife on her body?
That's not a deadly weapon.
You don't think a pocket knife is not a deadly weapon?
I don't think she had a pocket knife on her. And no, a knife is a tool. It's not always a weapon.
Sure, but that would also apply to a car, no?
The Supreme Court says it's a deadly weapon if
Yeah,
used
but
with
not always a
force.
deadly weapon, right?
It was being
Whenever it's
used.
used as
It
a
was
deadly
being
weapon,
used
you
with
would say it's
force,
a deadly
though. It was a
weapon.
deadly weapon.
But I'm saying that, like, even in your comparison, when you're saying it's not equivalent because a pocket knife isn't always a deadly weapon, you would also apply the same logic to a car, right?
Did Ashley Babbitt have a knife? Let's take a look. If that's true, I'll concede that she had a knife. Yeah, a pocket knife was found in her, but she wasn't running at the officer with a pocket knife. So in this scenario, the knife was a tool. If the car isn't driving at someone, it's not a deadly weapon. It's just a vehicle. But when it's heading in someone's general direction, rather you want to make the excuse the wheel was turning, yada yada yada. If it's heading in the direction of someone, it's a deadly weapon. Just like a gun is
Mhm.
also a tool, but if you use it to, you point it at someone, then it becomes a deadly weapon. But guns are a little bit different because, there's a bunch of different laws about that we can get into.
Yeah, I feel like whenever you say weapon, like it presupposes like an argument that there's an intent to use this thing in a particular way.
Well, there was intent, but you don't even need intent for self-defense. All you need is you need to be scared for fearful for your life, for bodily harm or possibly death. That's all you need.
Well, there's an objective reasonableness that comes to like federal agents, like LEOs broadly, but in particular with federal agents where they have additional scrutiny onto them from the DHS regulations. So it's like they have
I
to
mean,
meet a
sure,
standard.
DHS regulations are regular. When you work at a job and they give you regulations or they give you like there's some kind of regulation they say you can't chew gum while you're at work. Does that mean that's a federal law or a state law?
Not if it's for a corporation or a company, no, not
DHS
necessarily.
policy is not law. You realize that, yeah?
Yeah, I realize that it's not law. Do you think I
So
disagree with that? Or
no, I'm just saying it's kind of irrelevant. I don't know. Some people say that there's DHS policy saying that you can't pull a gun in front of a vehicle. I don't know if that's true or not. I can look that up, but it's kind of irrelevant because DHS policy is not federal law. It's not state law.
well, it's
It's
not
just a
irrelevant
policy.
because these are federal agents that are held under the
Okay, so what do you want
DHS.
to say? He violated a policy? Okay, boo-hoo. That doesn't
I'm saying
matter.
that
It's
he broke the
irrelevant.
regulations and the standards that are put in place that he's supposed to follow under DHS, and he also didn't meet the federal regulation or regulatory standards for what self-defense is classified as for
Well, we can
LEOs.
talk about that too. How is it not self-defense?
Because there are requirements that are uh, supposed to be met by previous Supreme Court cases that establish this. Like you can
Like
look at
what
like
Supreme Court case?
I have Graham v. Connor, I think is one of them offhand. You can look at um,
Yeah, I've read that. They're all
there's
supporting
the
his
Tennessee v.
self-defense.
Garner,
Yeah, that's also literally supporting his self-defense.
the Barnes v. Felix one is really ironic
I
because I remember
brought
a
that
lot of
up as
people
well.
were bringing that
That's
up.
also supporting the self-defense. Hold on one second though. Yeah, I'm gonna put it on the green screen, but I don't have the image. But keep going. Yeah, all those cases you just mentioned are literally in support for the very reason why it was self-defense.
Well, they're not
Because a
though
vehicle
because
is a deadly force. It can
mhm.
cause can a vehicle moving at you regardless of the speed cause bodily harm?
Yep.
So how isn't it self-defense?
Well, because there are like prongs that are essentially required to be met, right?
Like what?
The lethality of the
The
weapon that is being
lethality is
used,
irrelevant.
the lethality of the what is
No, it's irrelevant. All you have to do is have a suspicion, not even suspicion, be in fear for your life.
by a reasonable standard, by if a reasonable
Yeah,
officer
by a
were in that
reasonable
position.
standard. And fear for your life or bodily harm. A car coming towards you is not reasonable suspicion of bodily harm.
No, not reasonable suspicion. It's a reasonable uh,
Reasonable belief.
objective reasonableness is a particular standard in law, especially whenever it comes to law enforcement agencies, where they're trying to like if a reasonable officer were put into this position, how they would interpret it. It's not just how this person would subjectively interpret like this to
Did
be
you
determined.
read the Barnes versus Felix where Felix or where I don't remember who was the cop, but the cop reached into the car and he
Hmm.
was slowly accelerating and he shot him?
Hmm.
So you're telling me that was any different? That was justified.
Did you read the Supreme Court ruling on that?
Yeah, they said that one thing was taken out of account for. What was it called? You know what it is. You can go ahead and tell us. I have it right here actually though. No, this is Stark versus yeah, this is the Stark thing, but go ahead. Go ahead and tell us because I remember what it was. We talked about it yesterday if you were listening to the debate.
Yeah, with that example in particular, the Barnes v. Felix, Justice Kagan, she wrote a unanimous decision in the Supreme Court that an
The
excessive
doctrine
force
of the
claim,
moment of threat was irrelevant. That's what they decided.
what is it?
They decided that the moment of threat doctrine for police claims use of force was irrelevant.
Okay, that goes to my point.
How does it go to your point? What is the moment of threat doctrine?
It was initially like a split second decision that is going to be made by somebody who claims that they're in fear of their life. They're saying that split second decision is the irrelevant thing, and that you have to broaden that out and look at the surrounding context as to what the situation was.
And the surrounding context was they were trying to escape and run him over.
Well, for one, we don't even know if they're going to run them over. For
I mean,
two,
she looked right at him and she accelerated.
we see the context of him stepping out of the vehicle, circling the vehicle, interacting with her, in which she says that, "Hey, I'm not mad at you. Like, I'm not upset with you
Does
about
that
your some shit like
justify if
that.
I shoot you in the back of the head after saying I'm not mad at you? Does that mean I wasn't trying to kill you? I'm very curious why people keep using this as a defense. You know how many people say I'm not going to kill you and then do kill them literally 2 seconds later on video?
Sure. Yeah.
So I don't understand how that's relevant.
Well, I'm building the context because in the case that you brought up, or that you mentioned before, like last night, what they're talking about is the surrounding context of the event. So it's like when you have him interacting with this person who hasn't posed a threat, when you have him actively arguing with like the wife of this person going around the vehicle, when he sees the Renee turning the wheel, backing up, and he continues to step into in front of the vehicle, and he continues to sit there and record. Like for one, he's already breaking DHS regulations by
How
not
is he
involving themselves
breaking DHS regulations?
because they're instructed to not stand in front of the vehicles.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
DHS regulations. ICE. Can they stand in front of vehicles? I think I'd have to say that's probably wrong, but let me take a look. It says they're trained to not approach the vehicle directly. When there's someone sitting in the passenger seat, you don't walk in front of the vehicle before you approach them. That's what they're trained to do. Not that they can't stand in front of the vehicle, that when they initially approach the driver, they go to the driver's side window instead of standing in front of the car, which is what he did.
But he didn't do that, right?
He did. He went to the driver's window. They were talking. They were looking at each other through the window, through the
And then he
driver's side
circled
window.
back around
Yeah,
in
he
front of
made
the vehicle.
contact with her and told her to. He made contact with her, and then the other officer came to the window and he circled around.
Yeah, but he's still circling around in front of the vehicle.
But that's not against the regulation. The regulation just says you have to make contact initially through the driver's side.
When you say make contact, what is that like defined as?
But you have to roll down the window and make contact with them. I don't know.
Okay,
You have to define it on the website.
on
It
the
doesn't even
VHS
say make
website?
contact. What it actually says is yeah. What it actually says is you have to approach them. When you approach them initially, you have to go. You have to come up to the driver's side window. They don't use the word contact. They use the word approach.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just pulling this up on my end as well.
I'm about to pull
Um,
up the full regulations on it. I'm running it right now.
okay,
She was told to exit from the vehicle.
sure. And I agree that
No,
she.
under ICE and immigration agents, under the Department of Homeland Security and regulations and standard law enforcement are generally. It says they're not supposed to. They're not supposed to. If the vehicle's not stopped, they're not supposed to stand in front of them.
Yeah, and it wasn't stopped.
It was stopped.
It wasn't.
She was not moving. If you want to pull up the
When he
footage,
circled back around, you can see the tires where they're
when
turning
he
and backing
initially
up.
approached her, she was stopped.
Yeah, initially approached, but then when he sees it's actively in
And
motion,
either
it's not
way,
stopped.
even the DHS policy doesn't make it unlawful.
No, but I'm
So what
saying he
she
put him.
still did was
I'm
still
saying
legal.
that him putting himself in that situation and then acting in quote unquote self defense, like that's what kind of makes it unlawful, right?
It doesn't matter if he stepped in front of the vehicle. We got the
It
state
does though.
statute right here.
But the state statute doesn't trump
The
federal
vehicle
statute.
wasn't
And
moving
also,
towards him. That's why it
but
doesn't matter. And
also,
pedestrian rights. What about the pedestrian laws in Minnesota?
what about him?
They say the pedestrian has the right of way.
Is a ICE agent a pedestrian
Yes, anyone walking on the street next to a car is a pedestrian.
when they're trying to conduct a detainment?
Yes, they are
They're not. They're
exactly.
not
They should
just.
stop for law enforcement. We can look up
So,
the meaning of pedestrian. A pedestrian is just someone walking rather than traveling in a vehicle. That's the definition of pedestrian. It doesn't matter if you're a civilian or law enforcement. The literal
I
definition of a pedestrian is a person walking rather than in a vehicle.
okay.
So
So they're with the intent of traveling, right?
they're walking.
Yeah, they're walking to do a detainment.
Okay, what's your
That's
point?
different than just being a pedestrian. Like they're an active like agent that is like trying to do a in quote unquote like investigation or
Okay, he's still a pedestrian. Does that
no, he's
change?
not a pedestrian. He wouldn't be a pedestrian at that point.
By the definition, a pedestrian is a person walking, not in a vehicle. That's the only definition. Doesn't say anything about being law enforcement or civilian or government official. If a government official gets ran over, you're telling me the pedestrian law isn't going to apply because he's a cop?
I it depends
It doesn't
probably, right?
depend.
It probably does, yeah. Like if they're off duty, but they're a cop, like then I would imagine if they're just like being a
If
pedestrian,
they're
that's
on duty and they get ran over, they're still a pedestrian.
I
Pedestrian law. I mean, do you want me to look up does pedestrian law apply to everybody? Would you like me to just Google that?
Well, it would be in, like, particular, like, instances. I don't know if, like, just saying broadly, does it apply to
Let's see.
everybody? Because there are probably instances
Does
in which a federal
pedestrian
agent can't be
law
considered a pedestrian,
apply
but
to
it's just going
everyone?
it's actually, you should ask if it's, you should look up if pedestrian law
Yes,
applies to
pedestrian law applies to everyone. Every person is a pedestrian at some point.
at some point, but during an
Does
investigation, during an
pedestrian
ICE
law apply to
investigation,
police? Do you want me to look that up?
during investigations.
Let's take a look. Let's see. It says police must obey pedestrian laws. That's what it came up with. But hold on. Even police have to obey pedestrian laws. You're telling me a Democrat behind the wheel? It says pedestrian law doesn't apply to law enforcement.
You said it doesn't apply?
Yeah, because well, that's what it says for law enforcement. That means if there's someone trying to come across the road and the cop hits his blue and red lights, he has the right of way. The pedestrian has to stop for him. But for the other way around, I don't know. It's not giving me an answer. Let me ask a better question: are police pedestrians for traffic laws? Let's see, because it's not giving a straightforward answer on that one. But you're telling me basically if pedestrian laws don't apply for police, you can just run them over.
No.
Then what?
Well, I'm making a distinction between pedestrian and like, a active officer, because I think you brought up the term pedestrian to talk about, like, the pedestrian laws applying in this instance. I'm saying I don't believe that they apply because I don't think this person would be classified as a pedestrian. But before that, I was saying that because of DHS, standards, these officers in particular are not supposed to be standing in front of vehicles that they see are actively moving.
Was it actively moving forward towards
Yes.
him?
No, it
It
was
was not
actively
moving
moving
forward towards him. So you're telling me when a car is reversing and you're in the
when it's in
parking lot, you're
motion.
walking, huh?
When it's in motion.
We're discussing the Reed Goodman case. Yeah, okay. Why are you people against public schools? Why does every one of you MAGAs jerks want to bring back school prayer? Why, I ask you? Well, not every single one of us. I believe in freedom of religion. If you wanna, do your Muslim prayer in school, I mean, I don't really like it, but if you want to do it, sure, I don't have a problem with it. If you want to do your Christian prayer in school, you can do it. If the teacher wants to pray with you, I mean, I don't know, I don't have a problem. But this is a whole nother debate in school. But why are you so anti-religion? I mean, did someone harm you? Did a priest touch you somewhere? I mean, but that's kind of irrelevant. Back to what we're saying. So, pedestrian and civilians are not the same thing. Well, pedestrians and civilians are not the same thing. So what were we talking about? These people distracted me. We were talking about how the people walking in front of them. Yeah, or you're saying okay, yeah. So as I was saying, if you're in the parking lot, right, and everyone walks to the parking lot, everyone
Mhm.
goes to the parking lot. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a ton of cars always backing up in the parking lot. You're telling me if I walk in front of a car pulling into the parking lot, reversing, and they hit the accelerator and run me over, that they're in the right?
No.
So what's the difference?
Are you an agent?
Does it matter?
Yes.
The pedestrian law is the same law.
No, but we just established that the pedestrian law doesn't really apply in this instance when you have a federal LEO that has guidelines demonstrating that they cannot stand in front of vehicles that
There
are
is
moving.
no guidelines. What is the guidelines?
The DHS guidelines?
It says approach them through the driver's side window.
Yeah, but did you not reference something earlier that was just talking about, like, when the vehicle is moving? Like, when it
When their
stops?
vehicle is moving in their direction.
Does it say in their direction?
I don't know. Let me pull it up. I don't know. Let's see. It says officers should avoid intentionally and unreasonably placing themselves in positions where they have no alternative to use deadly force. When a this includes not standing in front of the path uh, when a vehicle is moving towards them. And does DHS law make it unlawful for what does not law? Does DHS policy basically say that what is that the law or is that a policy?
No, that
Because
isn't
I'm talking
necessarily a
about
law.
it's legally justified. Was it legally justified? or was
No,
it just against policy? Why was it
no,
not legally justified?
because whenever they're meant to follow this policy, they betray that policy, they're inherently defying the reasonable standard, the objective reasonability standard.
What reasonability? This isn't the
They
law. This has nothing to do with the law.
But it does because these people, these federal agents have to abide by these standards. When they're not abiding by them and they're putting themselves in harm's way, they lose
He
that
didn't put
ability to
himself in
defend
harm's
them.
way. He walked in front of a car that was parking.
That was moving.
It was reversing. You
Yes,
already
moving.
admitted. So what's the
Reversing by
difference?
moving.
Where is the law? Explain this to me. Where is the law that says if you already agreed that if I walk in front of a car in a parking lot that's reversing and pulling into a parking lot and they hit the accelerator and they kill me, it's their fault. So where's the law that says that's different for cops or police officers?
Well, it's an entirely different standard because they're conducting an
What's the standard? What's
investigation.
the law? Please quote me something. Don't just say it's different because they're a police officer.
It definitionally is different because they're police officers.
What definition? What law? Where?
By virtue
Can
of
you
them
call
being
in? Yeah, you can
federal,
call in if you
by
drop
being,
if you join the Discord.
yeah, by virtue of them being federal officers, they're inherently held to a different standard.
But what's the law? What's the standard?
Are you looking for me to cite? I don't understand
Yes, you can't just say there's a different standard, there's a different thing. You have to show some kind of evidence. You can't just say it's different because you say it's different.
So do you think that they have? Wait, do you think they're the same?
I'm asking you to present something that says that they're different. Because pedestrian law is doesn't matter. The pedestrian does not mean civilian. Pedestrian means someone that's walking on foot.
Well, we established earlier that you do see that there's a distinction between a pedestrian and a law, like an officer.
When did I say that? A pedestrian is not. It literally says a cop can be a pedestrian when they're walking in front of a car. Just Google it on Google.
Whenever you had mentioned that the cops don't necessarily have to follow or abide by pedestrian law.
Yes, because cops can turn on their red and blue lights, and people have to stop for them.
Can normal people do that?
No, because they're not cops.
Exactly. So you agree with me that they're held to different
But
standards.
civilians have to stop for cops because they're a regular civilian.
Yes,
They're not a cop.
because cops have greater authority.
Yes, because they aren't
Yes, so
civilians.
you agree with me.
The cops have authorities over civilians.
Yes, you
Civilians
agree
do
with
not have
me.
authority over cops. That means a civilian has to stop for a cop. A cop does not have to stop for a civilian. Do you understand? Because a cop has a higher level of authority. We're agreeing.
No, now you're agreeing with you're arguing my
No,
point.
you're agreeing with me. They have to stop for the
You
cop.
said, wait, cite me
The
a
person driving the vehicle
cite me a law,
has to
cite me a
stop
law
for the
saying
cop.
that. Cite me a law saying they're different.
Saying what's different? You want a law saying that the cops don't have to follow the pedestrian law?
That LEOs are different than civilians. Cite me a law or cite me a regulation.
Here, hold on. I'll cite you something, but you have cited me nothing so far. But let's see. The law for cops following pedestrian law. If you want that, sure. I mean, that's easy to find. But obviously, civilians have to follow pedestrian law, and cops don't.
I agree.
Let's see. The law. If you already agree, why do you want me to cite you something for it?
Because I'm showing you the absurdity of you
What's the
asking me to cite
absurdity? The
something.
cops have a higher level of authority.
You asking me to cite something that you agree with me on.
Yes, you agree. The cops have the authority to tell them they have to stop for cops. So you're telling me they have to stop for cops. But when a cop is walking across the street, the civilian can just run him over? Is that what you're telling me right now?
No, I'm not telling you that. I never said
Then
that.
we agree then. What are we arguing about?
I'm arguing over you telling me to cite you a federal statute or regulation
How?
to
Yeah,
show that there's a
exactly.
distinction.
Show me what the difference is when a cop is a pedestrian.
When a cop is a pedestrian?
Yes, a cop. We're talking about when a cop is not in his vehicle. When a cop is in his vehicle,
When he's conducting an investigation.
That's irrelevant. What are you talking about?
No, that's not irrelevant.
How is it relevant?
Because when you're reading off the DHS standards, where it's talking about how they are not supposed
Are
to be
DHS standards laws? We're not debating guidelines and standards. We're talking about was it legally done? Was she legally?
But we're talking about the justification for it happening.
Was she legally killed? Was it self-defense?
But we're talking about we have to walk ourselves up to that first. So we're grounding out the very basic stuff, right?
So you realize when someone's in a vehicle, they're not a pedestrian, yes?
Yes.
So the cop doesn't have to follow pedestrian laws, meaning if he's driving straight, he's driving down a road and a pedestrian sees him, they don't have the right of the way. The cop has the right of the way. The reason the cop has the right of the way is he's going to an emergency situation.
Yeah.
And in that circumstance, the cop is not a pedestrian. He is in a vehicle. He's not following pedestrian law. He's not a pedestrian because he's in a vehicle. The reason he's not a pedestrian is not because he's not a civilian. It's because he's in a vehicle. You get that,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So when a cop is not in his vehicle and there's a civilian coming pulling out in front of them, or he's on duty, it doesn't really matter. They have to follow pedestrian law. If she was pulling out, if she let's just say for example, she wasn't, but let's say it was an accident. She was pulling out into the street. She has to follow pedestrian law, which means she has to stop for the cop.
Do you think that I think that she's not in violation of anything?
Do you think she's a criminal and she ran him over and she tried to run him over?
No.
Do you think she tried to hit him?
No.
Why? She looked directly at him and accelerated. How did she
I don't
not
even
try
know
to
if
hit him?
we. I don't even. For one, I don't even know if we can even see her eyes in that
We
video.
can't see her eyes. Pull up
But
the
we can
video right
see.
now. I've shown it already 5 times on here before. You can see her making. She smiled at the cop. She made direct eye contact with him. You
Are you
have
saying when
it
she was at the window, when he was at the driver's side window, or are you saying whenever he was in front of the
before she
windshield?
when she was accelerating. She was looking at him.
I don't even know if we can like prove that with the quality of the
Yeah,
video
we
that they
can. There's a
provided.
video of it. You want to see the video?
But
Do you want
also,
me
do
to?
you think that looking at somebody is going to inherently like prove intent?
It proves he's in danger of his life. You don't need intent for self-defense.
In danger of his life in a situation that he put himself in. If I were to
Does it
grant that he was
matter?
in danger, yes, it does matter. Yes.
He didn't put him. So if he didn't put himself in danger, that has nothing to do with self-defense. If I walk into a dangerous neighborhood where people have guns, is that a defense for someone shooting me? If I step in front
No.
of someone with a gun and they shoot me, does that mean that that's a defense for their self-defense? Or does that mean it's a defense for them killing me and saying, they if a cop walks in front of a criminal with a gun, do you say, "Oh, the cop shouldn't have walked in front of that criminal with a gun. He wouldn't have got shot"?
Probably not. No. It just
That's
depends on the
exactly what the car
circumstance.
did.
It's not though.
That's exactly what he did. They shot him. He didn't have to accelerate. The person didn't have to shoot.
Yeah, but he put himself in that situation where he's
And the
walking
cop
around.
that stood in front of the gun put himself in that situation and got shot. Does that justify the person shooting him? Does that make the person shooting him legal?
No, not necessarily. And I would even say that what Renee Good did was illegal.
If you put
Or was
yourself in
legal.
danger and someone tries to kill you, or they try to harm you, or they use a deadly weapon against you, does it justify? Does that change the law in any way?
Yeah, if you put yourself in a situation where you have to quote unquote defend yourself, or you feel like you have to defend yourself, then definitionally you give up your right to self defense.
No, you don't.
You
That's
do,
what
yes.
law is that?
Wait,
Tell me the law.
if I break
Give me
into
the law.
somebody's
I'm
house,
giving you
if
four
I
or
kick
five
down someone's
sources.
you haven't, but if I kick down somebody's door to go inside their house and I have a gun on me and they come out of their bedroom with a gun and they threaten to shoot me and I shoot them, am I legally in the right there for self defense?
If you break into their house, you already committed a crime. Just like how she was resisting arrest, she already committed a crime.
Yeah, so he put himself where he's not supposed to by the standards of DHS that he has to abide by.
The standards of DHS are not the law. The standards don't say if you step in front of a
No, they
car,
contribute
it's
to the law.
no
They
longer
coincide with the
justified.
law. They coincide with the law
How? No,
because
no law
DHS
says if you
operates.
step in front of a car and you shoot them, it's unjustified. And Jermaine
DHS.
said he put himself in danger. Stop making excuses. Yeah, cops put themselves in danger every day. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
They
but
put themselves in
unreasonably.
danger.
This
Huh?
goes back to the Graham v. Connor situation is when they're putting themselves in an unreasonable circumstance, like
Was
an
it
unreasonable
unreasonable to
situation.
walk in front of a car that was being stopped and told to pull over?
When it's moving and you're not
It
supposed to
wasn't
move in
moving
front of a
towards
moving
them.
vehicle. It was moving backwards initially.
Are we talking about the 1989 Graham versus Connor or Grant versus Connor?
Graham,
Okay.
Graaham.
Yeah, that's my name, so I know how to spell it. Let's see. He was having issues with insulin. He didn't even die anyway, so it's kind of irrelevant.
No, it's not. No, it's about excessive force. It's not about the result of like the
Let's
like
see. He
someone
entered the
dying.
store. He left quickly, then got back into his car. The officer observed this behavior, found it suspicious. Followed the cars, conducted investigation. Let's see what else happened. He ignored explanation. The officer ignored explanations. He handcuffed him. He broke his foot. I mean, how is this relative? I don't
Because
understand.
this Supreme Court precedent is what establishes the objective reasonability standard that LEOs have to abide by.
There was reasonable suspicion to stop him. What are you
No,
talking
we're not
about?
talking about reasonable suspicion. We're talking about objective reasonability of like a of self defense.
There's this. I'm reading this case. It says nothing about self-defense.
Sorry, excessive
It's
force.
not excessive
Sorry,
force is
excessive
different
force.
than self.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
misspoke.
We're not even talking about the same thing. Excessive force, using excessive force on someone being arrested is completely different than self-defense. Those are two different completely
Yeah,
laws.
for one, I said I misspoke. Okay, let's
Yeah,
walk
I
it
know
back.
you
Okay.
misspoke. I'm not trying to be a dick, but I'm literally telling you, it's
Yeah,
not even
but
the same
excessive
laws.
force still applies to this case, which is this is what establishes the objective reasonability standard.
Which is what? What
It's
does this have to
the
do with anything?
it's the lethality of what they perceive, what the officer, what a quote unquote reasonable officer would perceive as being dangerous to their what would you even hold on, let me I had
I'll,
a
I'll pull
definition
up the
for that.
whole thing. Jamonte says, I'm talking about the dumb ICE agent, by the way. F ICE. You can keep saying F ICE, but we're going to keep deporting millions of humans and illegal alien immigrants, whatever you want to call them. Or illegal alien immigrant scum, however you prefer.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
how a agent would perceive a serious bodily injury or potential death. Like
let's see.
the lethality is
The
going to be
main
used to,
factors. Oh, wait, here, wait. Let's pull it up. The main factors: severity of crime. Was it a minor offense, a non-violent infraction, or a serious violent felony? It was a serious violent felony when you're
it
moving a
wasn't
car
no.
towards an officer.
It
Running an
wasn't.
officer over, she hit the officer, which that
She
is a
didn't
serious
she
violent
didn't hit the
felony.
officer, but
She hit the officer. You're saying she didn't hit the officer.
yeah, I'm saying that, yeah.
Would you like to pull up the clips? Why did he go
Yeah,
to the
we can do
hospital
that.
if he wasn't hit?
I don't know if that's routine or standard for officers to do that anyways.
I don't think it is, but why? Why?
Well, we don't know if that is,
He
right?
was
Like,
hit.
neither of
You
us
can
know.
really see it on footage. So now you're denying he was hit. Can we pull up the footage? Do you want me to pull it up, or do you want to pull it up?
It might be easier for you to pull it up because I don't know what I'm
All
doing
right,
on
I'll
this.
pull it up. But you're saying he wasn't hit in the first place. I think you're the first liberal that ever said he wasn't even hit in the first place.
Let's clarify what you mean when you say hit.
The car made contact with him.
Okay, you see how those are two different things?
What would you call it?
I would say that the vehicle was accelerating
And
and
it
he
touched him, correct?
from the yeah, touched him. I wouldn't say that's being hit.
So you don't think when a car accelerates towards you and it makes contact with you, that's not being hit?
No, not necessarily, no.
So how do you define hit?
Usually when I hear people say hit in the context of a vehicle, like it's typically like the impact is going to be severely different. It's not just
How,
like them touching. It's a difference in like me swiping you with my finger versus like punching you.
the definition of hit is an instance of being struck. He was struck, yeah?
No,
What's the definition of struck? Hit forcibly without, permission, basically. Using force or violence is the definition of forcibly, just in case you don't know. Yes, he was hit forcibly.
I don't think so. No,
How was he not hit forcibly? The definition of forcibly is using force or violence. You're saying a car coming towards you isn't violent?
not inherently. No,
Using force, you're saying this wasn't force?
force as in like the car was accelerating and that
Touching
qualifies as
someone
force, or
without.
you're saying the
I
like
mean, it's like
the
we have to pull up the definitions for everything. You don't know what they are.
no, I can reasonably assume what they are, but I just want to make sure
So
that
if he
we're nailing
wasn't
down the
hit by the
definition
car, then what was it?
mutually.
If
I
he
want to make
wasn't
sure that
hit by
we're
the car, what was it then?
from my from when I saw the third, I think it was either the second or third video that was released from the distance, where it's like super pixelated. It looks like he is on the what would be the left side of her vehicle, and then whenever she accelerates, it looks like he reaches over, or Ben like reaches over and tries to get out of the way, and has like his arm in front of him where he's like touching the hood of the car.
So he was. I don't think he would touch the hood of the car, but was he? What was he bumped? Well, how would you like to word it? He said, "Bro got the micro P. It was said so. It's true." At them. Let's see. The ICE agent struck by Rihanna had to get stitches in his arm and had internal bleeding.
Yeah, there hasn't been any evidence for that whatsoever.
Let's see if we can pull it up. ICE agent hit by Rihanna. Rihanna, good. Let's see if they got stitches. Oh, actually, no. It's actually been reported.
Are you talking about the CBS post or whatever?
No, it's by literally 7 different news stations, 10 different news stations now. So you're saying he wasn't hit, but he had internal bleeding.
Yeah, there hasn't been any evidence showing that. No,
All right,
that
I'll
I've
turn my
seen.
camera
I
around.
saw that came out today, but or I saw that people were posting about it today. But I
No,
haven't
it's
seen any
on. It's
evidence.
literally on every single local news station, including Los Angeles ABC.
Yeah, we
I mean,
can.
I'll
Yeah,
go ahead and show you the sources.
yeah.
I'll go
I'm
ahead
down
and show
to
you the
go through them.
sources because literally every single news network is reporting on it right now.
They're reporting on the fact that it was reported, or they're reporting on him actually being damaged.
They're reporting on him actually being damaged. I mean, look. ICE officer hit by Rihanna Goods suffered internal bleeding. ICE officer involved in Rihanna Goods' death suffers internal bleeding. ICE
Mhm.
officer says agent who killed Rihanna Good was injured. ICE officer who sustained internal bleeding. I mean, the list just keeps going and going and going and going.
Yeah,
You're
those
telling
each
me
say different things. For one, for two, we have
which
no
one's?
evidence that he.
I mean, yeah, they're different titles, but what do you
Well, I
mean
see the
different
national
things?
review right there. That one is a much different claim than what was
Which
initially
one's
reported.
different?
Right?
Wait, which one's different?
It was the national review. I don't know where it went.
Fox News, internal bleeding to torso. ABC Los Angeles suffered internal bleeding.
Yeah,
You're telling me he did not suffer internal bleeding and he didn't get hit by the car. Is that what you're telling me right now? Shut up, Republicans. All you do is lie every single day and blame Democrats. The ICE agent did not suffer any internal bleeding. It's a lie. So it's a would you like to see the maybe possibly the sources? Why
I
would it
mean,
be a
I
lie?
can pretty much guarantee that none of them are going to have any like actual like reporting of
Let's
the injury
see.
occurring.
Let's see. Let's see. Let's see if we can find anything. So we're just expected not to believe the mainstream news media that you guys, listen to everything and believe it about.
I mean, you can try and box me into like whatever like liberal identity that you feel like I would fit
No, I'm
into.
not just
Like
talking to you. I'm talking to this Germonte guy as well. Let's see. So you're not going to believe the Department of Homeland Security saying he had internal bleeding.
if they provided evidence, I would 100%.
So they need to provide evidence now. Oh, here we
Yeah,
go.
usually
It's
it's on.
also they provided evidence. And according to Cleveland Clinic. Let's take a look at what this said. Here we go. Here's a direct thing. Oh wait, no, this is just what internal bleeding is. Okay. I won't jump on anything, but yeah, the Cleveland Clinic has reported that there is, literally according to Cleveland Clinic. So it seems like U.S. Today has confirmed with the source.
They haven't though, right? That's not
No,
what that
it
says,
says
right?
right here. It says internal bleeding occurs when in the body, according to. Okay, no, this is just what internal bleeding is. My bad. It wasn't reported by them. I'll retract that statement. Um, the mayor said he walked away with a hip injury. A Minnesota mayor. All
Well, he
right.
was mocking that. That's what that statement is.
Yeah, I know he's mocking that, but he said he wasn't. He said he didn't have internal bleeding. I think that's what the mayor said. But now we're supposed to not believe the mainstream media because you disagree with it. That's what you want me to say,
Well,
right?
are you addressing me now, or are you addressing the guy in
I'm
chat?
I'm addressing everybody. You're telling me not to believe it because it disagrees with your narrative.
No, it's not because it disagrees with my narrative. It's because there has been no evidence that's been provided, and usually I like to have evidence for the things that I believe
What
in. Right?
evidence is there that Renee Good even existed and then died?
What?
Where's the obituary? Where is the death certificate? We need evidence that that she was even killed, man. We need evidence. We can't just believe CNN telling us Rihanna Good is dead. Where is the obituary? Where's the death certificate? It's fake, man. Fake news. Fake. Rihanna Good isn't dead. She's with her lesbian lover, smoking cigarettes, using her children as ashtray like she's always been doing.
What about the video where you see her dead?
I didn't see any video of her dead. What are you talking about? The AI video?
What AI video?
That's what I'm talking about. What AI video? Rihanna is not dead, man.
What do you mean? That's what you're talking. You just said the AI
She's not
video as if
dead,
you're
dude.
referring to
What
something
evidence do you
specific.
have? Do you have an obituary? You have a photo proof of her body being buried?
No, I don't.
Exactly. So what evidence do you have Rihanna Good is dead? If you're gonna say I don't have evidence that the ICE officer suffered internal bleeding, then what evidence do you have Rihanna Nicole Good is dead?
Well, if she never existed, then that DHS officer wouldn't be in danger, though, right?
Yeah,
So
she
it
never
wasn't
existed. No
self-defense.
one
So
died, man.
he had no self-defense claim, right?
He didn't even kill anybody. That whole story about him shooting and killing someone, that's all fake, man. The whole thing is fake. We got no real evidence.
Do you see
I
how
mean,
like
that's where you're going. That's the conspiracy route you're going down. If you're not
that's
going
not
to
a
believe,
conspiracy route? You just
yeah,
haven't
it
shown
is.
any
If you're
evidence
not going to
whatsoever.
believe, if you're not going to believe the sources, if you're not going to believe the news stations, what they're telling you, then I guess
But the news
reanimates never
stations that
existed.
you went through like 2 or 3 different articles trying to find something like desperately
I
that
didn't.
would like
I'm trying to
that
find
would
anything desperately. That the news telling you enough should be enough, brother. It's 20 different sources all saying the same thing.
so now you believe in the mainstream media?
I mean, I believe he suffered internal bleeding. I don't believe everything they
Based off
tell me, but
nothing though, right?
based off the statements of DHS, yeah, I believe DHS.
With
Let's see if
no
we can get
evidence.
any sources. Let's take a quick AI overview. Let's see if there's any sources for bleeding. Let's take a look. But double tap that screen, everybody. Um, let's see. Hmm. Well, what do you want? Hospital records? Would that be significant proof?
Probably, yeah.
So if the hospital records get released, you're going to believe it.
Yeah.
Because now a lot of people are going to be saying, a lot of Democrats are going to be saying fake news, and then when the hospital records get released, so why would they already said it's self defense, so why would they need the fake internal bleeding?
You recognize that they're not the arbiters of what self-defense is though, right?
Yeah, the court system will be.
Okay, then I
All
don't know
she
why you
had to
brought
do
up
was
that they already
stop,
said
and she wouldn't be
self-defense.
killed in the first place.
Why did you just bring up that they already said it's self-defense?
Because they did.
That's not relevant though if you acknowledge that the judicial
How is
system is the one that determines
DHS's
it.
policy relevant?
I've explained it multiple times, but
It's
like
not
how is
federal
it
law. It's not state law. You can't be
it
convicted on
coincides with federal
DHS
law. It
policy,
coincides with
huh?
federal law.
And what federal law does it coincide with? What law says you can't step in front of a car when you're detaining them?
Well, that would be the regulation that was
No,
set forward by
regulation is not
DHS.
federal law.
It
Can you
becomes
please
federal law
look on your computer and tell me
when
what
you're
law?
breaking the federal regulations to put yourself in
It's not a
danger.
federal regulation. It's a policy. It's a DHS policy.
It's a federal regulation because it's a federal agency.
It's not a regulation. But since you can't find it, I'll ask you. I'll see if I can find a thing.
Weren't you just reading it off earlier?
No, there's nothing I've read has coincided with what you're saying. All the Supreme Court cases you quoted me are all saying it was self-defense. Policy
No,
is
it's
not
not.
law, does not make what he did a crime. And again, he didn't step in front of the car. She backed up and aligned in front of him. Yeah, that's another thing. She backed up. She pointed her car towards the right. He
Mhm.
was standing towards the right when he moved over to the right, more and more to the right. The car pointed toward the right and ran him over.
It didn't run him over. You
It,
don't have to use
it,
like
it,
such
it hit
exaggerated
him.
language.
I mean, you said it didn't even hit him. You couldn't even tell me what it did. All you said it was made contact with him, but you said it didn't hit
Yeah,
him.
it made contact with him. Yeah.
So what would you call
But
that?
then also, if she wanted to hit him, why did she bother turning to the right?
Because he was standing towards the right?
But if he's on the left side of her vehicle, then it doesn't make sense that she would turn to the right. No. And if he's
He was
already
standing
standing,
towards the right side and the car pointed towards the right. What are you talking about?
when
And the
okay,
ICE agent couldn't see which way her tires were pointing anyway.
but oh wait, but you're talking about how you can see her eyes. I'm surely you can see like her reach down to change gears, and then you can turn. You can see her turning the wheel to the right.
And then you can see her making contact with her eyes, looking at the officer. Before you said we couldn't see her eyes. Now you're saying we can see her eyes. Are you
No, I'm not.
contradicting yourself?
I'm not contradicting myself. I'm saying by your
You just said
standard,
look
if
at
you're
her eyes.
saying
They were looking down. So you admit we can see her eyes
no,
now.
I didn't.
So
I
you
said
also admit
by
that
your
we can
standard.
see her eyes looking at the officer running them over?
No, I'm saying by your standard, if you believe that you can see the eyes, then surely you can see her
You didn't
turning the
say
steering
that. You
wheel.
said you said yourself we can see the eyes. She was looking down, turning the wheel.
Okay, let's say that I said that, which I don't even believe
So
that
you
I
finally
did.
admitted to the fact that we can see her eyes.
No, I don't believe you can.
Yes, you can.
I don't believe you can.
You can. You want me to show the video?
Sure,
Chat. You
you can
guys
show
want
the
me to show
video.
the video? Here comes that she couldn't see because she changed gears. The officer walked right around the vehicle twice and she made contact with him when he was standing right in front of her.
Yeah, but you're saying okay. I'm not even saying take back the yeah, but because I'm not even agreeing that you can see the eyes for one.
Show the
For
video.
two,
You guys want me to show the video in the comment
if you
section?
think you can see the eyes, then surely you can see her turning the steering wheel, correct?
And you can see her making contact with him.
Can
Can
you
the
see?
officer
Can
see
you see
the
her?
wheels moving when he's just looking at her?
Is he just like completely like? Does he need a
It
handler?
happened in a
Can he
split
not? Can he
second.
not drive a car or something?
Can he? She was driving. What are you talking about?
I'm saying, is he not capable of understanding what it means when somebody is turning the wheel to the right?
Yeah, and he was standing in front of the right. That's why he pulled his gun and shot her.
But if she's turning to go to the right and he's on the left side of the car.
She was not turning to the left. She was turning to the right.
No, he is on the left. She's turning right.
No, you're wrong. I'll show the video.
Okay, show the video again.
Hold on 1 second. I'm pulling it up. Where the fuck would she be looking at? If not in front of the car. I don't stare at the steering wheel when you drive forward. Yeah, no shit. No one stares at the fucking steering wheel when they drive forward. And even if she wasn't trying to run him over, it's kind of irrelevant as well, because the fact that she was moving in this general direction justifies his self-defense for endangerment of, bodily harm, causing a bodily harm. It does.
It doesn't.
All you need to do is be in fear of your life.
Do you think that would have caused serious bodily injuries?
You don't need intent. All you need is fear of bodily harm. Do you agree?
I agree that it's serious bodily injury.
Yes, and a car can cause serious bodily injury. It doesn't matter if it's going 1 mile per hour.
What do you think serious bodily injury means?
I don't know. A broken foot? A broken leg?
Okay. Do you think that he would have... Hold on.
He had internal bleeding. Is that not seriously bodily injury?
There hasn't been any evidence of that whatsoever. Didn't he go to the hospital?
All the sources posted it.
Didn't he go to the hospital the day of and then got released like the day of? When the president said that he was making a quote-unquote speedy recovery?
What's your point? People get shot and go to the hospital and get released the same day. What's your point?
My point is that if he's already made a speedy recovery,
quote unquote, I'm quoting about speedy recovery.
Your president did, dog. That's what I'm referencing. Your president said that he was making a speedy recovery from the hospital.
He probably was making a speedy recovery. He's the fucking military, basically.
Okay.
He was trained. He works out every day.
He was trained his body was trained to like regenerate like Wolverine. What are you talking about?
Basically. No, basically, yeah.
Dude,
people get shot, and an hour later they get out of the hospital. They get stitched up and get out of the hospital. Like, what are you talking about,
bro? You're memeing.
I'm not memeing. You never known someone that got shot and they got released from the hospital literally a couple hours later?
I've heard that before, but you're saying that these people have been trained to be able to heal themselves.
I never said that. You're the one talking about fucking Wolverine.
You did. You agreed to that. You said like, yeah, these people are.
I was being facetious. I was joking, but obviously he heals pretty quickly.
But if he heals pretty quickly, then how is he sustaining internal bleeding?
You can get like shot and sustain internal bleeding and get released from the hospital the same day. What are you talking about? Why are we just talking in circles? You're victim shaming, man. The Democrat is victim shaming.
That's what you've been doing this whole time when you were talking about Renee Good.
She's not the victim. She's the aggressor. She's the one that... If she was the victim...
Who's alive?
Huh?
Who's alive right now?
It doesn't matter. If someone tries to break into my house, are they the victim and they get killed? They're not the victim. They're the aggressor.
I agree. Yeah, and I would say that the ICE agent is the one that broke into the house. Yes.
She basically violated the law, just like someone that would break into their house would do.
No, she didn't. Violation of the law doesn't mean that you have a warrant for your death.
If you try to kill an officer, or you try to drive over.
But now you're going back to the intent of the person that was driving the vehicle. So we can either like drop. I know. I agree. I don't know. So I don't know why you're bringing it up.
But it does help if you have intent in a court case. If they're trying to, you have intent. That does help you get off of self-defense. That is true. That is 100% true. But here, let's show the video, guys. Show the video. All right, let's show the video, fellas. Here we go. Since you guys want to keep talking about the video, we can show it. Okay, this is the right side of the car right here.
Footage that's being spread everywhere on the internet. And here we go. So he gets out of the car. Dog's in the car.
You can see her face. You can see where her eyes are. Her eyes are right there. You can see her looking at him.
Beginning of the video, though, right?
Yeah, and it's the same thing through the whole video. Okay.
You can see she very clearly looks at him. She acknowledges. She's smiling at him.
You're mad enough to drive to try to escape.
This is a phone camera. This guy probably learned his lesson from last time somebody tried to run him over.
His home security video shows the driver taking off during a traffic stop, dragging a deportation officer with him.
Show your face. Change our plates every morning, just so you know.
It's Missouri.
No, we don't get the same pay when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former
veteran, encouraging, death and destruction.
So he walks around the car.
Want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy.
Antagonizing a police officer. Really good person right there.
Get yourself some lunch.
Oh wait,
Okay, there you go.
she's moving right
Huh?
there, right?
There's her. Well, notice how he was in front of the car pretty much already before it was moving.
Stop right there.
Right, let's
Okay.
go back. Let's go slow-mo. Hold on. Slow-mo time, boys. Slow-mo time. Playback speed. Let's make it, 0.25. Okay, hold on. Right when he was almost right when his body was almost directly in front of the entire car.
Notice how you're saying almost.
Yeah, he was already
not.
standing in front of the car, but he just wasn't. He was standing in front of the vehicle. His body just wasn't aligned with the vehicle at the
He
moment.
was walking towards the vehicle.
Yeah, but he was standing directly in front of the car, but the car just wasn't pointed to kill him yet.
Standing in front of the car because he walked in front of the car as it's moving, right?
Is it moving?
Yes.
No,
Look.
it's not moving. Notice how if the car turns its wheel to the right currently, he'll be ran over.
Okay. Notice how it's pointing to the left.
Notice how it's about to turn towards the right. So we see the back wheels look like this. Also, we can see she already hit someone else because apparently she likes to hit people, but
Which you have no evidence of. You're just making that up, right?
I mean, there's a big fucking dent in the side of her car.
Is the only way that you get a dent by running people over?
I mean, I don't know.
So obviously not. You just made that up.
Which points to her car to be on the right. So he's saying, get out of the car, get out of the car. He's walking over to the driver's side, correct? He's walking over to the driver's side. The vehicle's not yet moving yet. He's saying, pull
It is
over,
moving.
pull over.
You can see the tires right
It's
now.
not moving. The tires are moving, but the vehicle isn't moving. Is that correct?
If the tires are moving, the vehicle is inherently moving.
Are the tires even moving? Okay, he's walking over to the vehicle. He's walking over to the vehicle. He's almost in front of it. Walking over to the vehicle. Tires not moving. Nothing is moving whatsoever. Guest was educated at the quality leering way. He's basically walking over to tell her to get the fuck out of the vehicle. The other officers are screaming, get the fuck out of the vehicle. Right there it started moving. He was in front of the vehicle. He just wasn't in the harm's way of the vehicle yet.
Wait, let's say I'm willing to grant you that. Okay, that it starts moving right there. You acknowledge he's not in front of the vehicle by that point, right?
He is in front of the vehicle.
But he's not. He's not though.
Come on.
He's walking up to the vehicle. Get out, get out, get out, get out. Okay,
Yep,
right
and
here.
the tires are moving, and he's not in front of it, right?
He's in front of the vehicle. Yeah,
he's not. He's diagonal to it. He's not in front of it.
He's in front of the right. He's in front of the right car light. The car light's right here, right?
Yeah.
But if she turns the vehicle towards the right, if she turns her steering wheel towards the right and starts driving, is he gonna hit him? Is she gonna hit him?
Yes.
Okay, then he's standing in front of the vehicle.
No, that's not how it works.
He's standing in front of the vehicle currently. Yes.
The fact that you say
if this tire was straight, you're telling me if the tire was straight, he's not gonna get ran over right now.
Yeah, I'm saying if it was straight, yeah. But the fact that you're saying that if means that it's not, right?
And you're agreeing that he was already standing in front of the vehicle.
No, I'm saying he moves in front of the vehicle. He's not in front of the vehicle right now.
He gets in front of the vehicle when she backs up. Now he's completely in front of the vehicle.
Because he's moving towards her.
Because she's telling him to get out of the car. He's trying to walk over to the passenger side.
But he doesn't. He stands in front of it.
The far right are used. What are you talking about? English, please, Germonte. I'm not far right at all, by the way. But okay. Who the hell is calling? Hold on. I think someone wants to call in. One moment. Time, is that you calling me? Who's calling me on Discord? She moves towards him. Okay, yeah, we have Time that wants to call in. Hold on one second. He wants to speak to you. He wants to explain it. He's better explaining it than me.
Wait, how long is this going to take to get him on? Because I was going to get a cup of water.
He's gonna. You can get your cup of water right now. How long? He's calling right now. So.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Hold on, Time. Hold on, Time. Hold on, Time. Are you there, Time? Hello?
I'll wait.
Yeah, he's getting his cup of water. I think you heard him.
Wait, it's because you're. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. He says the far right are uneducated. I'm not far right, Germonte, but you are uneducated, sir. This was 100% lawful.
I'm gonna have to mute you real quick. Here we go. Here, I had to turn off the stream, otherwise.
Victim blaming. The officer was the victim. They leer from the Leering Center.
Okay.
Double tap that screen. All right, I will. I'll tell you when he's back.
I had to end the stream where I can't hear you. So.
If you guys have any questions or comments about this whole situation, Rana Good was a piece of shit. She liked to smoke cigarettes with her wife and put them out on her children. But that's unfortunate, man. That's really sad. Double tap that screen though. Let's get to 100 likes. My wife is a lawyer. It's not legal, dude. Fuck your wife. I don't care if your wife's a lawyer. All my friends are lawyers.
Looking at it with liberal eyes and not with law eyes. I don't go by the.
I don't go by a liberal woman lawyer. I would never hire a woman lawyer. Anyway, here we go. Here's the guest. He's back. He got his water.
Okay. Can you hear me then?
Yeah. Your wife isn't a lawyer. She's a what do you call those people that work in the office?
An activist.
Yeah, she's an activist. Anyway, go ahead, Tom. We can hear you. I think you can hear you.
So now Graham's not explaining it right. He is not in front of the vehicle. Saying he's in front would mean that he was in front of the vehicle. He is to the side before the vehicle. In other words, his body is further up than the vehicle. When she backs up, the car lines up to him being in front. It was her that put him in front by backing up at that turn. You can see it throughout the video. It's easy as hell. And then when she does it, the initial thing is because she's still steering, she is going straight before she turns to the right. She does hit him. She actually hits him pretty hard. If you see the right angle, you can see how hard he actually gets hit. Knees don't go backwards. So he did have potential for an injury. The law of self-defense only requires that he believes that his life has a chance of reasonable bodily injury or reasonable bodily injury to someone else.
But he was standing in front of the vehicle. He was standing in front of the vehicle.
It doesn't have to kill them. It doesn't even have to hit them. He only needs reasonable belief that his life, not even his life, his body or someone else's body could get great harm. At 3 miles an hour, I did the thing for it. You can actually get things like nerve damage. If she decided to stop and her tire was on top of him, you can create embolisms with a broken bone, make him go blind and die in the hospital within hours. All junk like that. So I don't get where you keep trying to do those little hypotheticals or saying that he walked in front. I don't get where you guys keep saying he walked in front. He never walked in front of it.
You know that's not hypothetical, right?
And when he was going towards the door, because that was his right as an officer to go towards the door where the wife was, when she backed up, it put him in front of the vehicle.
Yeah, you're the one that's
She was
creating these
staring forward.
hypotheticals.
I don't know where you look when you're staring forward. I don't look at my steering wheel. I don't have to look at my stick on the side to put it from drive to drive. Even if so, I can see when somebody's in front of me. I got great peripheral vision. I don't know what hers is. I think she wears glasses, but you still be able to see a blob in front of you. She did hit him. I'm not saying she had intent, but you don't need intent. It's just the reasonable belief that you or somebody else could receive great bodily harm.
But you're not allowed to walk in front of a moving car.
He didn't walk in front of it. When she backed up, it put him in front of it.
It did.
Look at the video
again, actively walking.
and you can tell when he's to the side, but in front, but to the side, like you said, and she starts to back up, that's when the car goes and puts him in front of the vehicle.
So he was standing in place and she backed up.
No.
And I already went through it with lawyers, by the way. You can look up Nate the Lawyer and American, I think the other one's American Lawyer. They did a collab on it.
So
even if he did break policy, policy is not law. At best, it can get a guy fired. Policy is not law. It's meant to help protect the officer, not the perpetrators.
No, it's meant to do both. To be clear. It's meant to do both.
So policy is not law. It's not going to change the fact that he was still within his right to do what he did, and that's been going for over and over and over again. I don't know how many times before you guys stop believing this stuff. And people shouldn't listen to you when you're saying that she wasn't doing this, she wasn't doing that, she wasn't doing this, because that's what's getting all these people killed. They're stupid enough to believe people that believe like this.
But wait, just to go back to the topic about the in front of the car. So he was standing still. The car reversed and pointed towards him.
Correct. Look at it.
Yeah,
he starts to walk towards where Rebecca Good is. That's the other girl's name. And when you see the tire, you see that when she starts to back up, it puts him in front, in direct line of the vehicle.
You there?
Yeah, I just mentioned that. Did you hear me?
Yeah, I heard you.
Okay. So, yeah.
So based off what he said, I'm expecting this person to be full.
Actually, I'm watching it right now, and actually, he's right on that.
He's not.
You can't show it moving. The car was moving. I will show it again.
He already stopped moving at that point.
He wasn't moving at all. If you actually look at it, he wasn't moving. The car was actually the one that moved towards him. He didn't move. He didn't jump in front of the car. The car jumped in front of him, but not hitting him.
She was backwards, and then she decided to accelerate. As she accelerated, it does peel out a little bit, which does make a noise, which is why he grabbed for his gun at that. It took him 0.07 seconds, not even a whole second, to shoot the first shot and the next two, which is part of self-defense too. If there was a pause between, then he would be guilty of something. There was no pause between.
Hey, thank you, Toki Doki. So here he is. He's standing there. He's standing right there. Okay, look, the car's
And he's
moving. Is he
walking,
moving?
right?
The car. No, he's not walking. That's the thing. He's
How's he
not
not
walking.
walking? Wait, play the other angle, just to be clear. Play that alongside this.
What other angle? He's not walking.
The original video that was
Not
released.
watching.
What original video? There's 12 different angles.
No, there's not. There's like 3.
The one you see from the front of the other angle, if you have seen it before, like you kept trying to say he wasn't hit, the one from the front from the other angle shows he's getting hit, but not
It
just gets
shows
hit.
him walking.
He gets hit
in
pretty
front of
hard.
the car. It shows him walking in front of the car.
No, and
Show the video then. Show your video.
Now the other thing you got to understand is Rebecca Good, when he walks in the backside of the vehicle, says it's our same plate. When you come get us tomorrow, I remember it word for word, but when you come get us tomorrow, so they expected to flee and expected to be arrested the next day.
And did you just
You don't change every day?
Here, I'm linking this to you real quick.
I don't remember the exact wording, but she says it's something similar.
Right
to that.
here, he stopped moving. Look, right here. See that white line? Look. He stopped moving right here. The car is moving.
That's what I'm saying. I watched it several times. I don't want to be wrong with it because it's not a political thing. To me, it's a law thing. I'm a centrist.
He did not walk in front. He did not walk in front of it.
He did. I don't know how you're
Look, the car is moving. Look, if he walked in front of it, then why isn't he moving? Look, the car is the one moving. You can see it clear as day.
When she starts to back up, you see it.
Look, she backed up and hit him.
They're simultaneously moving together.
Look at the white line. Look at her feet. Look how fast the car is moving towards him. Look, the white line is still right there. Look at the ground. The white line is in the same place as before.
Nobody ever wants to listen to me. I told you in the chat.
You told me yesterday, but I didn't really understand what you're saying. But now,
I've reviewed it a million times in a million different angles. It was a justified killing. It sucks. And there's only 2 types of self-defense that are both justified. There's what you call perfect, which is if you are hit or struck or stabbed and you kill somebody, that's what they call perfect self-defense.
Yeah, that applies when you have
the white line, same place. The white line is the same place. Watch. Watch. White line, same place. Same place. I put my finger on the white line. We can go back. I put my finger on the white line and it's in the same place as before.
Somebody clip that part where he's doing that so we could use that later.
Yeah, clip. But look, white line right there. Yeah? Look, white line right there. White line right there.
The other guy said the car backs up and puts him in line.
There you go. The white line is basically in the exact same place.
How's it basically in the exact same place?
It is in the exact same place. The white line and where he's standing on the street, if you look at the road, he's standing in the exact same place. Look.
Right? She would have...
Right here. He stopped moving. Right here, he stopped moving.
Like you guys keep wanting to say, he would have been further to the right.
I mean, in slow mo, you can obviously see. No, it's okay. I appreciate it. Now you're correcting me because I see exactly what you were saying now.
Yeah, but you kept saying the word in front and like he's standing in front. No, he was before the car.
You acknowledge that he's standing in front because you're saying he was standing still, right?
No, you both were saying in front. But I was
wrong.
Still when the car starts moving back.
So how does he end up by his own car?
Watch the video more than 100 times, dude. This is
in front of this woman's car.
Okay.
How does he what?
How does he end up next to his car once again, all the way to in front of her car?
By trying to detain
it? He backs it. When she backs up, it puts him all the way over. You see the camera pan without
in front of her car.
We just watched the video 100 times over. Let's keep watching it. We'll keep watching it until you guys understand it.
I'm not saying you're dumb. I'm just saying you're seeing this wrong. I watched it so many times because I was looking for all these little things. I'm a little OCD about this stuff.
So how's he end up?
Look, right here he stops moving.
Line?
See how he stops moving right there. Right when the car moves, he literally stops moving. Look, he walks.
Look, yeah, he's almost like basically trying to gauge the situation because the vehicle started moving.
He stopped right when the car stopped moving. Look, he's not moving. You can see the white line below the wheels. He does not move anymore in the right direction.
What do you mean he doesn't move anymore in the right direction? He's right in front of that line. Here, he's right, like
okay,
on the
he's
line,
moving,
basically.
He's moving. He stops moving.
Here, hold on 1 second.
Are you starting to see what I'm seeing, Hunter?
I'm seeing it. He's doubting what he sees with his own eyes, basically. But look, he stops moving here. Right when the car starts moving, he stops moving.
Mm-hmm.
If he was moving, the camera would be shaking because in the rest of the video, the camera's shaking.
It is shaking.
That's because he's moving. See how it's shaking right here?
Well, so you're saying
It's
he's
shaking.
moving.
The camera's shaking. Look, when the camera stops shaking, that's when he's not moving. Shaking, 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 and he stops moving here.
I'm going to send that part of the video to the FBI so make sure somebody clicks it. Because they're doing the investigation. They need to see that so somebody doesn't miss it. He was not moving.
How? Okay, answer this real quick.
I'm not saying, but she pointed the car at him.
How come he's on that line, Euro? Right there. Why is he on that line?
What do you mean?
No, go back.
What do you mean? What line?
Right there. You see
So
that
what are we
line right there?
arguing here, Hunter? Even if he
Wait,
did,
wait.
besides the point, even if he did walk in front, might be a policy violation. Policy violations are not illegal and does not.
He stops moving here. See, look. Right when the car starts moving, he stops moving.
But you see him on that line.
He's walking over. He's walking over. He was initially the reason he started walking was because he was telling her to get out of the car. But the minute the vehicle started moving, the reason
to go into it.
the minute the vehicle started moving, he stopped moving. He stopped moving right here.
It's clear as day. I don't know how you don't see it.
If you have any other angles you want us to look at, did you send them to me?
Yeah, I sent you 2 angles. The most recent one probably won't be relevant to this point, but you can still look at the.
Well, I want to see something relevant to this point. Is it actually relevant to this point?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, here you go. You sent 2 to me. So which one do I play? The first one or the second one?
The first one.
All right, the first one. Okay, let's play this one. This is the original clip, that first clip that came out. All right, hold on. I'm pulling it up. This is what the officer you're showing is the one that was pulling on the door handle. But go ahead. Yeah, the one that was pulling on the door handle.
Yeah, I know. But you can see the officer coming into frame.
His arm, because his arm was in the vehicle. If you look.
But you can see the other officer coming into frame.
Yeah, look, you can see the car backing up. That's what literally gets him in the other frame.
It's
look.
backing up, but you see him walking into the frame.
No, you don't see
him walking.
Look, you see his head right there. You see his head right there. That's his head, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He's not in front of the car right now, correct? You don't know. You can't tell.
We don't know for sure.
Okay, well, look.
He's hard to see in that.
Back here, you can't even see his head, right? You can't even see his head, so he's definitely not in front of the car right here, right? That's fair to say? He's not in front of the car currently?
Potentially, yeah.
Okay, so notice how you don't see his head until she backs up more. Why would that be? And you can see he's not moving. You can see he's not moving. The only thing that's moving is the car.
You can see him moving into the frame alongside
He's not
the car.
moving. He's standing there holding his phone in front of the car.
Wait, look at his. Wait. If you look at his head, look at his head. If you're going to be talking about the frame of reference,
doing back there,
his head doesn't move.
He is not moving.
It does move.
The car is the only thing.
Look at the window. Look at the window above his head.
The car is the only thing that's moving.
Not the building window. Look above his head.
You send that clip to me. I'm going to send it to my buddy in the FBI, though. So
wait. Move the camera up.
The reason the car window moves is because the person recording from this angle moves.
Can you not hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. The reason the window moves is because
show it on the stream. You can't see it on the stream.
Okay. The reason that the window moves is because the person with the camera is moving because the car is backing up.
You're saying that the camera person is moving from this angle to get out of the way of the car?
Yes, look. The window moves before the window moves as the car moves as the cameraman moves. Look.
You can see
the window's moving. The window's moving because the cameraman's moving and the car's moving.
You can see him turning his shoulders as he's walking.
Notice how the window moves faster than the car moving as well? And why would that be? Because the person with the camera is moving. Notice look at the fence.
What are we worried about the guy on the side for?
Yeah, play it in normal speed, and then
show normal speed.
That is not normal speed.
Is that not normal speed? It says playback speed 1x. Is that not normal speed?
Out right there.
You want me to play it in double speed? It says normal speed right here.
It doesn't have to be. Look, her tires are straight, by the way.
Never mind. I had a plug-in or whatever to speed it up, but
yeah, you're the one that sent me a slow motion video. You can see the car pulls in front of them. Look. The car is the one that points right towards him.
It doesn't point right towards him. Obviously, it does not. Like, I don't know why you think that.
The back wheels are pointing right, by the way, which is the same direction he's standing in.
The back wheels don't turn.
Standing right there, he takes a quarter of a step to pull. He takes a quarter of a step when he pulls his weapon.
Wait, do you acknowledge the back wheels do not turn?
Look.
It
The
depends on the
tires aren't
car.
turned, dude. How do you say they're not turned?
The back wheels.
I'm not talking about the back wheels.
He
Look,
just
the
said
front of the
back
car where you're
wheels.
going back in a policing thing is completely back, by the way.
You're
When you're
just
going in
saying the back
reverse.
wheels.
Well, it depends on the car, but the back wheels are irrelevant. The back
You
wheels
mentioned it
don't
though,
turn.
as if it's a point in your favor. I don't know why you would mention it. If they don't
I
turn,
need to
they're
put you
not.
back on my speaker. I hate when it
We
does
can
that.
just go ahead and suggest that the back wheels don't turn. But they are turning. All the wheels are turning. That's the point.
Turning as in going in drive. Okay, you understand that. When she first hits it, she's still straight and it peels out a tiny bit.
To be clear, he did not mean that they're going in drive. That's not what he meant by turning.
What did I mean then?
You gave a direction alongside
Victor sent us all something.
the statement of it turning.
Anyway, did the car not pull out and pull in front of him or not?
It's
He
backing
didn't
up.
walk in front, and there was even more proof. And there's more proof now because that angle, you see the tires are straight when she first starts going forward.
Every angle you're showing me is literally showing the fact that the car is pulling in front of the ICE agent that shot her.
You can literally see them turning all the way to the right.
The only sort of step he takes
Yes,
is to wipe
in front of the officer.
gun out. When
The
he
officer's
starts-
not moving.
If the officer is to the left of the vehicle, why would she be turning her tires all the way to
If
the
the
right?
officer is moving, if you're telling me the officer is moving, then why is he facing directly forward towards the car? How the fuck do you move towards the right or the left? Is he doing a shuffle? A skirmish shuffle? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, he basically is. Yeah.
He's doing MC Hammer's little shuffle dance.
He's doing an MC fucking Hammer shuffle? That's what you're expecting me to believe? Do regular people walk side to side?
Yeah, he's walking side to side to stay in front of the car. What are you talking
The
about?
only thing you see him do is spread his leg. So he moves his right leg to spread it. When he pulls his weapon, when she starts to hit the gas forward, you see the weapon come out as soon as it does the little pill out, which you can see in the slow motion that she pills out.
Dude, he literally shuffles right after he fucking fires the gun.
Where does he shuffle?
He widens his stance, which is what you learn to do when you pull your weapon out, so you're not unsteady during a shot. I'm a veteran. I can tell you how to shoot. You want to go out to the shooting range with me? I'll have some fun. I think me and you would have fun in a shooting range.
Hold on. Do you guys acknowledge that it is possible that he would I don't know if shuffle is the proper word, if you want to use pivot or whatever, there's a movement that he's fully capable of doing as a human being.
You pivot when you fire your firearm, correct?
No, before the firing, when he's in front of the car.
He had to put a base, which is why his right leg moves a little bit, and you see him squat because he's pulling his service weapon out because she has already started to go forward.
The wheel literally turned that, bro. Thank you.
He's pulling his
and I'm sorry to say it, I'm
with
not
his right hand when he's on the left side of the vehicle, so he's leaning into
the sense of my morals, but I'm a centrist wholeheartedly, and when it comes to the law, I don't look at it through religious not religious eyes, but I don't look at it through conservative and different eyes. I look at it, the law is the law.
Real quick, Euro, do you acknowledge that whenever she is pulling out, she is turning her wheel or her tires to the right, and at the same time, he's on the left side of the vehicle, unholstering the firearm from his right side, and he has to lean over.
That's what
He has to lean over to get the fire to fire through the windshield, right?
You acknowledge that they're backing up and then moving directly towards the officer?
No.
Well, then your eyes are lying to you. When MAGA starts losing, they start over-talking you. I'm not over-talking you. Dude, I'm showing you the video again and again and again. You're telling me this car is not backing up and towards the other direction, towards the officer. That's what you're telling me. The officer is standing on this side over here, right here, correct?
Yeah.
And the car is moving in that direction where the officer's at.
Yeah, because at the same time that the car is turning that direction, the officer is also walking in the opposite direction.
He's not walking in the opposite direction. He's not moving.
If he walked at all towards that direction, he would have been out of the vehicle.
Look at his shoulder.
If he walked it all towards this way when the car was moving towards him,
her
he would have been out of
line up to him when she backs up. It is not him walking in front of the vehicle.
He is.
He did not, and it wouldn't matter anyways. I don't know why this is contention with anybody, because that does not preclude his ability to have self-defense.
It does not
have
self-defense.
That's it. It's not a law. It's not against the law. It's not even a regulation, as you put it, it's a policy. Hey, don't do this because you could get hurt. That's all it is.
Don't do this because you
would
could
like
get hurt.
to agree with somebody for once, but it's like I don't. It's just I even had to
Okay.
correct Graham, so you don't think that I'm like one-sided here.
Yeah, he even corrected me. The video is zoomed in. You cannot see the brake light turned off when she moves forward. What do you mean turned off?
Well, it doesn't matter if you can see the brake. You can see is the tire peel out. You can see the tire peel out. Those 2000 Honda Pilots. It's not what you would call an all-wheel drive vehicle. They had them, but I don't think that one was because you see her tire peel out on the black ice. I mean, it's not like a crazy peel out like you're in a sports car, but you see it. And you can hear the noise in the video that has the sound.
And also, if the hit wasn't hard, then why do you hear the sound of the car hitting him louder than the gunfire? At least in the other video. I don't know about
You
this.
don't even
video.
necessarily know.
I want you to go
case,
and
right?
watch. I want you to go watch Nate the lawyer, Nate. Nate the lawyer. Nate the lawyer. He's a classical liberal too, and he believes Ashley Babbitt was shot justly, but he believes the officer here was just in the shooting.
Nate the lawyer.
Go and watch. He's a former cop and a former defense lawyer. So if you look at him, his eyes messed up. He had brain cancer just recently. He had a tumor removed.
If his phone hit the car, then how the fuck did he still have his phone? Like, how did his phone not get ran over or crushed or destroyed?
Because he's holding on to it.
And there's no evidence that his phone hit the car.
If there's no evidence, you see the camera go down, and then it's pointed up at his like face from beneath.
Where?
And you see in that third video that I linked to you, where he has his hand on the hood of the vehicle.
That just means it literally means he got hit. Because if he didn't get hit, his phone would falling.
There's a difference in being like hit versus like making contact.
Again, if he didn't get hit, that would be considered probably imperfect self-defense, which is still legal. But he did get hit, so he has a perfect defense claim. He's never going to serve any time.
Imperfect self-defense applies in circumstances where like a murder has occurred.
He did not murder her.
But you're citing imperfect self-defense. Imperfect self-defense is a justification that's used.
Imperfect self-defense means that you only have the reasonable belief. But he was actually hit, so he has reasonable knowledge that she could create great bodily harm. There's a difference between knowledge and belief. And he was actually hurt. Whether or not you believe how much he was hurt doesn't matter. Because that's not what self-defense law says, which is why I'm going to say go follow that lawyer or go look at Andrew Bronco. You might not like him, but he's conservative.
The extent of the injury is
he'll
what
tell you, because he's a world-renowned self-defense lawyer, exactly what was going on and why it's justified.
Yeah, so just to be clear, the extent of the bodily injury does matter. The anticipated extent of the bodily injury does matter.
Reasonable belief of the ability to cause great bodily harm to yourself or another. In other words, if I'm outside and I see a car about to run over a kid on purpose, I can shoot said person in the car before he hits the kid. Doesn't even really have to be on purpose. And I see him going, I could do that. And it's reasonable defense of somebody else, actually. He doesn't have to hit the person. That is not a necessity in self-defense. It's never been a necessity in self-defense. In any of the states, all 50 states have the reasonable bodily harm injury.
Yeah, which is the objective reasonability standard exists from the just to tell Eurodist from the Graham v. Connor case that I was citing earlier. But if you do look at the DHS policy updates from like 2023, when they're talking about the discharge of firearms in the use of deadly force, they're saying specifically before using deadly force under these circumstances, the LEO must take into consideration the hazards that may be posed to law enforcement and innocent bystanders by an out-of-control conveyance.
It was an out-of-control conveyance.
He also had to take into account her ability to hurt somebody else because there was other people around there. Not to mention,
he has no reasonable standard to believe
It
it
was
would
an
hurt anybody else.
out-of-control conveyance.
However, after he does shoot her, she crashes pretty badly into like someone else's vehicle. So there's more of a harm.
Did anybody else die?
No.
Her effect on other people could have been worse if she had survived and kept trying to sprint in that icy road. She could have hit people along with killing herself again. She put herself and others in danger. That's a simple fact. You keep trying to like skirt your way around it. It's not going to fit your little skirt. It's just not by the law. You can be emotional about it. I feel bad that she got killed, even though I think she wasn't a great mom if you weren't thinking about your kids instead.
Nobody's being emotional about it. To be clear, I like cited things repeatedly over and over.
I don't want people to die.
I'm citing like DHS like policy whenever it comes to like regulating like DHS officers or people that fall under.
Policy is not law. I don't know how many times we got to tell you that.
I understand that's not law.
You can't go outside past 9 o'clock and you're outside at 9:01. Yeah, you're going to be in trouble, but it's not the law. The law
Yeah, and
says
if
you have
you're
to be in by midnight because that's curfew.
cool, that's not what I'm talking about at all.
No, it's not curfew for everybody, but you get what I'm saying. Trying to use that
No,
as an
what I'm
example.
talking about is that DHS is required, or DHS agents are required to follow this policy that is enacted under the DHS. And whenever they're in
Policy is
violation
not
of that,
law.
they lose their right. They lose their right to
If
this
you go
free
and you look at the
defense.
Nathan lawyer one I told you about, they go
When you
across the
violate a
they-
policy, you don't lose your right to self-defense. What are you talking about?
Whenever you're the one that's putting yourself in harm's way, yes, you do.
What
Yes,
law is that?
it's not a law. It's a
Then
policy
it's
not
enacted by
law.
DHS.
I'm a liberal and a conservative person did it, so it's against the law.
No, there's no policy.
That's the only thing I can
Even
I'm
the
not a partisan
policy.
hack. I'm not a partisan hack like either of
I
you.
hate to
I'm
say it
totally
like that,
chilling.
Hunter,
The
but that's
policy
what it
doesn't
sounds
even
like.
say what you're saying. The policy
I
doesn't say
actually
you
does.
lose your right to self-defense. That's not what it says. Because they don't
It says
dictate
you
your
have to.
lawful self-defense right.
I
It
searched
says
for
that you have
every
to
reason
abide
that
by
it
these
couldn't
standards that are
be
outlined under the
justified, and
Constitution
then I
and
searched for
Supreme
every
Court
reason that it could be
cases,
justified.
such
That's
as
why I
Ray
watch
v.
this video
Conner.
so often.
Okay, one at a time. Who's talking?
Yeah, I'm saying that. I'm not saying
I
that
stopped it. I heard it.
the
I could hear it at
policy
first.
is law. I'm not, just to be clear, and I'll repeat it again. I'm not saying policy is law. I'm saying that these DHS agents that are acting as federal LEOs have to abide by these standards that are put in by DHS, especially when those standards are saying like, hey, in order to best achieve our goal, in respecting the dignity and the health and consideration of not only the LEOs but the people that they're meant to serve and protect, you have to abide by these.
Okay.
And when you don't abide by these, and you're putting yourself in harm's way by violating these, then
He
you
didn't put
don't have a
himself in
legal
harm's way. She
justification
put him in
for
harm's way.
self-defense. What?
He didn't walk in front of the vehicle, so he didn't.
Policy
did.
does not
He did.
dictate
He did.
federal or state law. Do you acknowledge
What?
that? A
I acknowledge what?
policy from a fed. It doesn't matter if it's a federal. It doesn't matter if it's a federal organization or law enforcement or what. A policy from the police department or a policy from a federal organization cannot result in anything more than a firing. Is that true?
No, not necessarily.
That's correct.
That is correct. They don't have.
That
They
is
don't. They don't have precedence. They don't have precedence over the law.
Yeah. Nate the lawyer goes over this with the American lawyer guy.
They don't have precedence over the
literally-
law. They have zero precedence over the law. DHS does not create law. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. Congress creates laws. Yes.
They don't have precedence over law.
How many times do I have to repeat that I understand that policy is not law before you guys, like, both of you understand that?
Then why do you keep saying because why do you keep saying she violated a policy so that then that means he's going to jail?
I'm
Why do
saying
you
that he violated
Yeah,
the
you're
policy.
saying he violated a policy, so he's
Yeah.
going to jail. How does that make any sense?
Because it's talking about the justification for legal self-defense by an LEO.
No, it's nothing with law. Policy is not law. DHS does not create laws, so stop using the word DHS policy alongside law. That doesn't exist.
I'm not saying DHS creates laws. How many times do I have to say
The
that?
court
makes the law.
The court will not use DHS policy when they're talking about the law.
They will
Not the
use
executive.
DHS regulations. Yes, they will. Yes.
No, they won't because it's not a
When
law.
it's considering what's within the purview
Go talk to a
of these
real
agents.
lawyer, and he's going to tell you it's not law. The worst
Dude,
that can
any
happen to
real
him is a
lawyer
firing. It
is
does
going
not
to, like,
justify
anyone
something
that
that's
agrees with you
happened.
is considered a real lawyer. But I just watched Euro come in here and like dismiss like someone else like providing a lawyer's perspective, like
They didn't.
outright. by
They
saying-
didn't provide proof that their wife was
No.
even a lawyer. They just said my
said their
wife is
wife's
a lawyer.
How much of that you believe is up to you, but we have plenty of people that come here and say, I used to be a conservative. I no longer support Trump. How
If
many of
someone
those are
comes in here and says, "Hey, it's President Trump," am I
If his
supposed to
wife's a
believe
lawyer,
it?
why is she not on here debating Euro? She should be on here debating Euro then.
Well, because it sounds like Euro just completely dismissed her and said that she's not an actual lawyer.
No, he dismissed him. Euro dismissed him by just saying, basically, he said, prove it.
I mean, if he's still
Well, he
watching,
said that
if
she's
your
a
wife
liar,
wants to
and
come
then
on,
she's
come
probably
on.
just like an advocate.
I've debated lawyers before. I debate lawyers on constitutional law, and I do very well against them because they're usually wrong. So it's not like I know the law a little bit because taking my courses for my degree, I had to actually take law and civics, which goes a little bit over law. My history degree obviously goes over the Constitution because American history is my specialty. So I understand the law. It's not that hard to understand if you read it. You can't read into it. It's not as gray as people think.
Ooh. I mean, all it does is take a Google search. Does DHS policy have anything to do with what's legal and lawful? Just open your computer and search that. The answer is going to be no. And as you can see, she backed up and then accelerated into him.
Actually, here, let me do it on my phone. So I'm not
Said we can't imply intent because we don't know what the hell's in her mind. I can imply they wholeheartedly expected to escape when Rebecca in the back of the car is telling him, "Yeah, we don't change our license plate every day. It'll be the same tomorrow when you come and get us."
Tennessee
That to me
versus
was
Gardner
intent to
agrees
break
with
a
us. What law did she break? Are we really going to talk about that? You guys really want us to talk about what law she broke?
We went over this yesterday too.
We've been
Jesus
over
Christ,
this.
these people. She was actually legally detained the second they told her to get out of the vehicle, by the way. Legal detained, and then you flee, and you're allowed to shoot someone fleeing. What it says in the other court case is when they're fleeing without any two others.
Yeah, someone was killed while they were fleeing, and they were driving so fast, the court justified it. They said they were going to that it was undoubtedly going to cause more deaths.
Yeah,
Possible.
from a perspective of an objectively reasonable,
I think it's the Barnes case.
like officer.
The Barnes case is when the car was accelerating slowly forward. The officer jumped in, put his hands inside the car, and said, "Stop, stop, stop!" And he started to accelerate more and shot and killed them and got away with it.
He got away with it because even though it was against policy, it didn't negate his right for self-defense.
And also, why would he think that she was leaving? If he did jump in front of her, if she did jump in front of her, which is a lie, you can see the car pulling in front of him. But if he did jump in front of her, then why the hell would he think she's leaving? Because I mean, if he jumped in front of her, why would he think she's leaving in the first place? Her lesbian lover is standing right there, not even inside the car yet. Why would he think she's leaving?
Drive, baby, drive.
Because people flee regardless of.
Person who burns kids with cigarettes. Drive away and flee.
How is that relevant whatsoever?
Just to let you know that they're extra shitty people. That's all.
Like you acknowledge that she's backing up right now with her wife trying to get into the door right there, and then you hear her singing "Drive, Drive, Drive."
Her girlfriend killed.
What?
Thanks for the $2. I'm anti-ice. I'm paid to agitator.
She's the one that told her to drive. She was trying to get in the car at the time so she could flee with her. She told him about the plates, which shows that I think she had intent to flee in the first fucking place. She, her friend, her girlfriend, wife, whatever you want to call fucking Renee, which lined the car up with him. The only sort of step he takes is to widen his stance when he pulls his service weapon.
When did Ice get so soft? These are tough guys, no? Yeah, they are tough guys. That's why they killed this bimbo. Goodbye. I mean, I don't know what kind of question that is.
Understand. And lawyer Chris, if he was here, he would tell you, I get pissed off when he makes fun of people that have died or their families.
Well, this person right there said, I wasn't making fun of her dying. I was just saying, they said this in the super chat. They said, when did Ice get so soft? These guys are tough guys, no? And I said, yeah, that's why she's dead, because she tried to run him over.
Yeah. No, I get it. I'm just saying that I might have gone to war. I might have had to do what I had to do, but I don't want people to die. I don't want the Ukraine.
Neither do I. I don't want people to go out in the street and try to fight against ICE and die. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
This guy said, thanks for the $2. I'm anti-ICE. I'm a paid agitator. Well, obviously, they ain't paying you anti-ICE protesters too much money if you can only drop a $2 super chat. But I appreciate it anyway. If you're going to say stupid shit.
I live in California. Come on.
Yeah. If you're so paid from being an anti-ICE, agitator, then it looks like they ain't paying you too well. But if someone does drop $2, I appreciate it. Shit.
The facts all the way through, man. That's the thing. I looked at the video, that specific one he was showing, over and over again. I hadn't seen the one that you showed in slow motion, and now that I've seen it in slow motion, it only furthers my belief of what I just said.
It furthers my belief as well.
That doesn't further it. He's on the line, for one. For two, he's in front of the line directly in both videos that you see. And then for three, again, just to reiterate, I'm not saying that DHS policy is law. But whenever you're violating DHS policy when it comes to like procedures or like things that you typically are required to follow when you're I'm trying to finish what I'm saying real quick. I don't know why you both have to like interrupt or like talk about it. But like when you're required by DHS as a federal agent to follow these regulations, it can be used in a court of law to determine your
unreasonability. It's a felony to evade law enforcement in Minnesota.
What?
It's a felony to invade law enforcement. Go ahead and read what you were reading. What were you reading?
What I'm saying is that
609.48.
No, not you. Him.
the disregard
Minnesota
for whatever
Penal Code.
policy or regulations that
It
you're
said
required to
it's
follow as a
felony to
federal
evade
agent.
law
Are
enforcement.
you reading this? Here, let him talk for a second time. What are you reading? Are you reading something or are you just talking shit?
No, I was reading the
He's
DHS
talking to me.
thing itself,
Oh, he's not talking
but
to
I'm
me.
saying that like when you're following the regulations by these things that are like that you serve under as a federal agent, that can be used in a court of law to show
It's not a law.
or disregard. And I'm not saying it's a law.
It
I don't
can't
know why
be
you keep saying
used
that.
because it's not a law.
No, it can be used.
No, there's nothing. They could try to use something like that. It's going to be thrown out. That's
No, it
discussed
won't be
by
thrown out
lawyers.
because it determines your unreasonability for
telling you
like
to
the
look up
standard of
Nathan Lawyer
evidence for
tonight.
objective reasonability
You
when it
probably
comes
enjoy
to
most of his
determining
content.
the threat of
He's a
violence.
classical liberal. He's not a conservative. Matter of fact, I'm a classical liberal by nature. When I take the that little, I forget the name of the test now, it shows me as a classical liberal.
Okay,
So do you guys agree or disagree that whenever there are standards that are put in place, if you neglect to follow those standards, that shows unreasonability?
No,
It doesn't, or you don't disagree?
it doesn't show unreasonability.
How does it not show unreasonability?
It still doesn't say that because he didn't walk in front of it, so it wouldn't matter. She
We're not
lined
talking
up
about the
her
specifics
vehicle,
right now. We're talking about the
maybe by
generality
accident, as she
of if
backed
this
up.
could be used to
It wasn't him
indicate
walking in front of it.
No, it's not
unreasonability.
being used in the case at all.
It's not him walking in front of it.
No
So how do
company's
they determine-
policies.
How do they determine reasonability?
Reasonability? The car was driving right towards him. That's reasonability.
No, I'm saying generally. How do people? How
Only
do
a
courts
reasonable
determine
belief that
reasonability?
can cause him great bodily harm or somebody else. That's it. That's it.
That's it.
Doesn't have to be accident, which he was.
No, there's a few different standards. For one, for two, how do courts determine reasonability if
Also,
not taking into account protocol that
Let
these
me
people have
step
to
in here
follow?
and ask you a
Right.
question. Let me ask a question because you're speaking about reasonability. So you're
Yes.
telling me if he didn't follow that regulation, that means that it was not reasonable to pull his gun out when a car was moving directly towards him and could kill him?
Yes, because as you cited
No,
earlier,
that would be wrong.
when you
That would
agreed
be
with me,
incorrect.
and you're
Wouldn't
talking
it be
about the
reasonable for her to
Barnes
get
v.
out of the
Felix
car?
case,
Wouldn't she have
when you're talking about
reasonable
the Barnes
expectation
v.
to be
Felix
arrested
case,
for she needed to
and
get
when
out
you're
of the car?
talking about
Because she was
Kagan's
detained. Instead of
unanimous
just taking
opinion
out
of
of
the
the car,
court,
detained, by
when
the
they're
way.
talking about not only the perception of a threat, but you're talking about the totality of the circumstance in which that threat came to be about,
She was
supposedly.
attempting to flee. She hit an officer. She died because of it. Those are the facts.
There are multiple celebrations of Kirk's death. The wishing of my death. Graham, Dusty, others in the chat. Stim have no reasonability or logic. Yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah, I can't watch the YouTube stuff, Victor. When you send that,
What is
this
Victor
is
saying?
government. He said government site one with the statutes 609487. It says the statute. Let's see if it'll allow me in. Okay, section 3, fleeing officer motor vehicle. Whoever by means of motor vehicle flees or attempts to flee a peace officer who is acting in the lawful discharge of an official duty, and the perpetrator knows or should reasonably know the same to be a peace officer, which she knew was a peace officer, is guilty of a felony and may be sentenced to imprisonment for not more than 3 years and the 3 years and 1 day, or to payments and fines of up to $5,000 or both. That's subsection 3. So someone fleeing in a motor vehicle, he doesn't even have to be an officer in danger. She committed a felony.
So you're saying because she committed a felony that he is legally justified in shooting her?
Did you hear him, Tom?
But it doesn't matter. Still, she, number one, and her girlfriend should be arrested for this now because she was the conspirator to the thing. Anytime that somebody dies in the action of a felony, if you're part of that felony, you become a murderer.
Nobody's talking about the other person.
So now Rebecca is considered a murderer by law.
No, we're not talking about Rebecca.
We're
We're talking about you giving the example of a felony. Somebody committing a felony by fleeing the police.
Conspiratorial thing with her girlfriend. She admitted that she was the one that told her to go out there. That's your conspiracy right there. She's the one we heard on video saying, "Drive, baby, drive."
That's not
So
conspiracy,
she
for one.
with the conspiracy, and now she
That's
is
not
the
conspiracy.
murderer, not the cop.
For one, that's not conspiracy. For
no
two,
one
when you're citing the
committed
felony,
crimes.
when you're
And you
citing
have to
somebody
pay
having a
crime.
felony for fleeing the scene of a
Especially a
crime,
felony.
and you're using that as a justification in this
Murder, if
scenario,
everybody dies.
you're saying that this woman is
You know
justified
that
in
law.
being shot by having excessive force like brought onto her by this LEO because she committed a felony.
Excessive force? She used
Yes,
excessive
she was
force.
shot in the head, dog. Like,
Not
what
excessive
do you mean?
force. He was hit by a 4,000-pound vehicle.
He wasn't, to be clear. But
You
like,
even admitted. You just said you don't want to use the word hit. You said bump. It was bumped. A bumping that caused.
I said he made contact.
So basically, you're using different wording because you don't want to admit
Do
that.
you think if I made contact with you, do you think that's the same thing as me saying I hit you?
If you hit me with your car at 1 mile per hour, yeah.
No, I'm talking about like say I touch you with my finger and I say I made contact with you versus I punch you. Do you think those are the same things?
Guys, officer involved in the finish.
That would be assault.
This was identified as
No, I'm not asking if it's assault. I'm asking if you have the same
would hit
feeling
me,
whenever
yeah.
you
It's a
hear those
tort.
words being used. What?
You hit me, yeah.
You're saying I hit you if I touch
If
you
you
with
go
my
like
finger.
this, you hit me, yeah.
That is absurd, and I see you smirking, so I know you don't even believe this.
According to the definition of being hit.
No, you know you're doing it the facetious bit again.
Belief that he could cause that anyways.
It doesn't even matter if he how hard he was hit. All he has to have is the reasonable belief.
Nobody's talking about how hard he was hit. You're talking about my disagreement with the usage of the word hit versus made contact, as if it's so absurd.
What would you call it? Tapping?
I said made contact.
It wouldn't matter.
It doesn't even matter if he was making
It does matter because you guys are making it sound like he has this reasonable understanding that he would be run over and risk severe bodily injury, which
he does not have to be hit.
No, I know he doesn't have to be hit. He doesn't have a reasonable interpretation as to why that would exist.
Why would what? Why would what exist?
It's unreasonable that he would believe that.
But you're not seeing it.
No, it's not. When a 4,000-pound vehicle is moving towards you and driving in your direction, it's not unreasonable to pull your gun.
Yeah, so if we take Barnes v. Felix, which you cited last night and we talked about earlier, and you're talking about Kagan making a unanimous court ruling when she's making a decisive decision, when she's making this whole thing, this ruling at the end on behalf of a unanimous court, where it's saying you have to take into account the totality of the circumstance. Like, you can't just take that one.
So it talks about how slow, how he was barely driving, how his car was just nudging forward, and they justified it. So what's your point?
What are you talking about?
BU, which is a very liberal San Francisco news station, says that he
battery and assault are two different things.
USA Today says,
and it doesn't matter. Literally, Barnes versus Felix said the speed is irrelevant, basically.
I'm not talking about the speed. I'm talking about what Barnes v. Felix actually ruled over, which is talking about the totality of examining a claim of excessive force.
They didn't claim excessive force.
That's what this is, dude.
Battery.
They didn't claim excessive force, dude. They let the officer off with no charges. What are you talking about?
Justice Kagan authored the unanimous opinion of the court in which it stated that an excessive force claim must be evaluated based on the totality of the circumstances and not just on the moment.
It was evaluated and he was found innocent and the officer was let off. What are you talking about?
I'm not talking about the result of that particular officer. I'm talking about the precedent that this standard set.
Yes, it's always reviewed. What's your point?
Well, battery doesn't give me the full definition. It gives me the Oxford definition.
It's always reviewed. What's your point? It doesn't matter about the speed. It doesn't matter. All the thing had to happen was moving forward. That's pretty much it.
Here, look, I'm sending you something. You can check this out. You can read it yourself right there.
But apparently, assault in Minnesota is the physical attack.
Let's see.
Which he had a physical attack.
This is from some random website, by the way. Okay. Yeah, I've already read about the case. What's your point about the case? Nothing about this case changes anything.
Move to the conclusion. You can read that, right?
They really need to see.
Yes, an excessive force claim was presented, and they went over it, and they said they were justified. What's your point? Is that your point?
What was the no? They didn't say that they were justified with that excessive ruling claim or excessive force claim. Go on to read.
12, ABC 7, CBS, American.
What was the officer charged with?
USA Today.
We're not talking about what that particular officer was charged with. We're talking about the precedent that the Supreme Court has set.
I don't see anything about the president.
Then read it. I don't know. Just read it.
Where? What part? I'm reading the conclusion. I don't see anything about it.
What do you want to believe?
It says an excessive force claim under the Fourth Amendment must be evaluated based on the totality of the circumstances.
Yes, I read that.
Not solely the moment an officer perceives a threat, which is what you're claiming this guy did.
Why are you thinking he's guilty?
That's because the moment of threat analysis was thrown out of the case.
Why do you think it wasn't justified? Because nothing you've
stated takes away justification. That means literally it doesn't matter when the moment of threat was because the vehicle was already moving. When the vehicle's moving, it doesn't matter the moment of threat.
What you're talking about is the moment of threat.
You're agreeing with me. When the vehicle starts moving, it doesn't matter what you claim the moment of threat is. It doesn't matter when you pull out the weapon.
You're talking about moment of threat. You are. When you're talking about him being in front of the vehicle and the vehicle coming towards him. You're disagreeing with this.
He pulls the weapon out now.
No, I don't disagree with this. The moment of threat is irrelevant. I agree with the entire court case.
He pulls it out the second her tires squeal.
Why is it going to say the Fourth Amendment's objective reasonableness standard requires a fact-specific contextual examination of all relevant circumstances leading up to a law enforcement officer's use of force?
Because that's relevant information about the case. What's your point?
Yes, exactly.
The
That's my
car was
point.
driving in his direction, and he pulled the gun and shot her. Now she's dead. That's why
What
she
you're talking
died.
about,
That's why she died. She
What you're
didn't
talking
pull
about is the moment
over.
of threat.
She drove the car. She backed out and drove right towards him and ran him over. What else is there to say?
What else is there to say is that there's other factors that have to be determined and examined
Like
in a
what?
court of law.
What else is there to be determined?
Probably him walking around her vehicle, interacting with her, in which
That's
she's not
irrelevant. There's
aggressive
no
with him.
laws that bring
How is that
anything of that
irrelevant?
into. There's
Didn't you just say
nothing.
this agreed with you?
DHS policy is irrelevant.
I'm not talking about DHS policy. I'm talking about Supreme Court precedent that you just said agreed with you.
It does agree with me.
Obviously, it's not agreeing with you if you're disagreeing with it.
Policy is real.
It agrees with me.
Nobody's talking about policy right now.
What part of it disagrees with me? Be specific. Don't just read it and tell me this.
I did be
Tell me.
specific with it. I don't know if you can't keep up with it.
You
I don't know if
said
the other guys are speaking too loudly and you can't hear me.
The
But I'll
moment
give you a
threat.
second. Yeah. The Fourth Amendment's objective reasonableness standard requires
You're
a
gonna take this forward.
specific
What are you gonna tell the
contextual
judge?
examination of all relevant circumstances leading up to a law enforcement officer's use of force.
So what about that?
While the moment the officer fires a weapon may often carry significant weight, events occurring before that instance, such as the initiation of a stop or earlier conduct by the parties, may affect how a reasonable officer would have perceived the situation.
So what about that disagrees with me?
When you're examining it specifically from the lens of the incident just occurring.
He looked hostile to me.
That's the moment of the threat analysis that Kagan threw the fuck out.
What are you talking about? The fact that she looked hostile is how you can get thrown out?
What is a moment of threat analysis?
When the threat is happening, when she backs up and points the car towards him.
Yes. So we agree that the moment of threat analysis is when you're arguing about when that moment of threat occurs, right?
He pulled the gun out after the moment of
If
threat.
you go to a judge, what is going to convince the judge that it was not lawful? What one thing is going to convince him? It's not going to be the policy.
Yeah,
You can say, well, it's not going to come into court.
I don't know why you're bringing up policy now. I'm not talking about policy.
What's going to convince the judge that it wasn't self-defense?
I'm not talking about policy right now.
The ice shooting.
We're hammering out this Supreme Court decision.
What is the judge? What's going to convince the judge? Just tell us.
It'll probably be an examination of the, which we can go back to policy in a minute, but an examination of the policy that the DHS officers have to follow, because if they're not following the procedures or the protocol,
So the policy, that's not a law.
Nobody's saying it's a law, dude.
The judge is going to throw it out of court and say it's not even allowed to be tried on. That's what he's going to say.
That doesn't make any sense. You have no evidence showing that whatsoever.
You have no evidence showing this policy, any DHS policies that are
my
used in
evidence.
court of law.
Part of my evidence is the Supreme Court case that you cited that agrees with you.
The policy was not used in this court case. What are you talking about?
I'm not talking about the policy being used in the court case. I'm talking about the precedent that Kagan set herself.
What precedent? What are you talking about?
Dude, the moment of threat analysis.
You go over to the court and you go to sue. Now, first they're going to throw it out for no standing because they're going to say you're not harmed in the situation. But then he's going to say,
she's dead, dog.
Stupid.
What do you mean not harmed?
You're not going to accept.
You're going to say you're not harmed because you can't sue.
Why
would Victor's the one that shared all that stuff from Minnesota law.
Why would I sue? Hold on. Answer that. Why would I sue?
It's going to be not.
You're saying he would give you $1,000 to sue the officer.
Why would I have any standing in that? Why would you bet me on that?
Why hasn't she sued yet? She should have already have a lawyer. We should already be hearing news of her suing.
Yeah, why isn't she suing?
The wife?
Yeah.
Probably because her wife just fucking got shot, dog.
She's already on GoFundMe asking for money, so why isn't she suing?
Someone probably set that up for it. Doesn't matter.
$1.2 million or some number like that.
Yeah, $2.5 million for a child abuser.
Cool. That's fine. Whatever. That's not relevant to anything to whatever is happening here. Right?
Yes, because there's no other reason the court would have taken those kids away unless it was true.
Nobody's talking about that whatsoever. I don't know why you're bringing this up.
Yeah, whatever you do, don't talk about her character and how she was a shitty mother and let her wife smoke cigarettes and use her children as human ashtrays. Don't talk about that.
That's relevant because in court, I could say she makes bad decisions. Here are her decisions in her life. She made a bad decision that day. So yes, that could be used by the defense lawyer for the cop.
That can be used by a defense lawyer, but not Supreme Court precedent that allows the prosecutors
that would be used in court of law
take into account the circumstances of evidence.
She was making a decision at the time that she backed up and decided to hit the gas to go forward.
By the way,
so her character can be used as evidence, but not the circumstances prior leading up to it.
Yes, her character can be used as evidence, but not the DHS policy because one is her character and one is a policy that's not a law.
Nobody's saying it. Stop saying that. I don't know how to break like
Well,
through
then
your
tell
mind.
me something. Be very specific. Say what law?
Protect her anyway.
What law
The
protects
policy
her?
is to protect the officer. The policy is not to protect her anyways. It's to protect the officer. So it's still, it has
It's to
nothing to do
protect
with whether it was
both.
legal what he did or didn't do. He
It's to
legally
protect
shot
both.
her because she
That's such a
illegally
one-dimensional
hit him
view of any
and
of
put
this.
him in some type of great bodily harm or maybe potential other
Trump
people.
is going to be president in 2028. Mr. Stork is not un-American.
And her wife does become culpable because she was a co-conspirator in said felony,
No,
which makes
that's
her
not
the
true.
murderer, the only murderer that day.
That's not true.
According to the law, that is true.
That is not true.
And Victor wants you to check your DMs if you're capable of checking them because he sent you some.
Let's see. Did Victor send me anything more?
Hunter.
My DM might be on my request. Hold on.
Victor's pretty even keel, by the way.
Trump's not going to be emperor. He's just going to be president in 2028 because that's what he got elected for. He got elected to be president in 2028.
To be
I
president
don't even know if he's
until
going to survive until
2029,
2028. Let's be
relax.
real.
Well, I mean, you can keep praying, but you know you're going to have to suffer through 3 more years of deportations and people getting killed by ICE.
It's kind of crazy how poor he's been with like his deportations, right?
I mean, he
Like, compared
deported
to, like,
3
other
million
presidents,
people
right?
last. No president in history has deported 3 million people in 1 year. Not during their first year.
And then leave themselves by offering them money, as I hear. And what's great about it, if you self-deport for anybody who's on here that might not be legal, the second you land, they let you sign up to become a citizen. So you start the process the second you land. Go, please. That way you can become legal. I want legal citizens here.
Wait, why are you
My
citing
mom's a legal citizen.
Minnesota
I'm the
law?
very first born American on my mom's side.
Because it happened in Minnesota. Isn't he being charged under Minnesota state?
No,
Has there even been any charges against him? Didn't you just make fun of the idea
Now,
that this woman wasn't
the
just like
state
pushing
government,
charges against him?
or the county.
I
state
can't hear you.
government,
You're both talking at the same time.
but it'll be held in federal court. He won't be able to be tried inside. Because the second it goes to a regular judge, all he has to do is say he wants it to be judged by a federal judge, because the federal judge will be the only one who knows things like immigration law and stuff like that. The state court won't, and he has no choice once the officer said, "I want a federal case."
Okay,
Now,
so
like I said, the
let's grant that it is a
prosecutors
federal case.
will be the ones
You agree that federal law
prosecuting
trumps
federal
Minnesota law,
court
right?
and federal lawyers that's going to defend him.
You would agree that federal law trumps Minnesota law, right?
I love how the fact that we're talking about how federal law trumps state law, but you also think that fucking policies trump fucking laws.
I never said that. I never said that.
To laws.
I never said that. I don't know if you just can't understand it, but I never said that.
He's talking about the supremacy clause, which
Yeah, I
doesn't
know.
cover every single law, by the way.
The supremacy clause, yeah.
Yeah, supremacy clause, it doesn't cover every single law. It covers things that would be constitutionally yours. You're right. Now, this would still go into the federal court system, like I just said. It's not going to go into a state court. They can try, and all he has to do is say, "I want it to go before a federal judge," and the state judge will have no choice but to put it in federal court.
Someone said federal might drop it, but state can pick it up.
No, state won't be able to pick it up. I already went through that. They don't put it in this court, the thing I told you guys about. That's why I keep telling them, look up Nate the Lawyer or American Lawyer. Nate the Lawyer is easier to find. He has a huge following, like 700,000. Nate the Lawyer does a collab with the guy, and he goes over it. They go over policy, which we talked about. They go over which court will take it. They go over the actual laws. Nate goes over why this one was justified, just like he says the Ashley Babbitt one was justified. He believes both are justified. So you can't say you disagree with him because he's conservative, because he's a liberal by far.
No shot. Nate the Lawyer is not a liberal, no.
He's
But also,
He goes going either way. He's good at commentating. So
okay, real quick, we should.
I watch a lot of different lawyers. I don't just watch one because I don't need one view. I watch a lot of different news sources for things because I don't need just one view. And then I go and I do my own research.
You wanted to say something when you have a second time. What did you want to say?
Yeah, I think we should probably hammer out this decision from Barnes v. Felix because it completely disagrees with your entire framing of this.
What does it disagree with? What does Barnes versus Felix disagree with? You're yet to say it. All you keep saying.
I've said it multiple times.
Okay, Tom, you can listen to this for a second. Listen to what he says about Barnes versus Felix because he has to get this off his chest. So let's listen to what he has to say, and then we'll both respond. Go ahead, tell us.
He got off because his argument for Barnes is going to prove exactly why policy doesn't matter.
It's not
Because
going
the
to prove
guy
that
got
at all
off,
whatsoever.
even though it was against policy.
Go ahead, talk. Tell us.
Okay, so you agree with my assessment earlier, right? When you were reading it off, that Kagan had wrote a unanimous opinion for the court on behalf of the court, stating that the moment of threat analysis is like invalid, right?
That's what it says. That's what the decision is. Yeah.
Okay, so when it says that the moment of threat analysis is invalid, it means that there should be a wider scope of
why?
analysis. I didn't finish
Now,
what I was
because
saying.
why?
I
Because
didn't
they're
finish what I was
mentioning
saying. I
this
didn't
thing.
finish
Why
what I
did
was
they say
saying.
it's invalid?
I'm just gonna finish what I'm saying real
Basically,
quick.
because
Bro.
it's
Like
too narrow,
when it's
right?
saying that the moment of threat is not valid, the moment of threat analysis, it's that. Do you agree that that means that
Okay,
it's
because it's
broadening
too
it out?
narrow. And why do they consider it too narrow? You're actually walking yourself into disproving yourself right now. There's a reason the cop still got off.
I'm not talking about why the cop got off or how he got off.
Oh God! Please go watch Nate the Lawyer.
Go ahead. What's your point?
Real quick, you would agree with me when they say that they're throwing out the moment of threat analysis, that they're broadening that, correct? They're saying it's invalid to analyze it from such a narrow perspective, right?
I have to read over the whole case, but what did Tom say?
You don't have to
No,
read over
he
the whole
said-
case. You can
he
read
said
over
no, why did they
the
say it was
court's
too narrow?
opinion.
Yeah, they broadened it. Yeah, okay.
Okay, when they broaden it, that means that they're saying that you should take into account previous circumstances that happened prior to the moment of threat analysis, right?
They can count everything. Yeah.
Okay, so when you continue to go back to the moment of threat analysis in the Renee Good case,
Are we done yet?
No, let
you
him
would
talk.
say that that's in violation of what the Supreme Court had ruled
No.
for the Barnes v. Felix
No.
case.
No.
How?
No. You're taking a case with two different conditions to start off with. One, the officer, it wasn't the policy that got him in trouble, it was the narrow view of threat analysis, right? It's because
Yes.
he jumped into the car. The officer, the ICE officer, does not walk in front of him. He does not jump inside the car. He does none of that. He gets hit by the car when the car goes backwards, lines his body up to it, not him. The car lined its body up to the cop's car body. When she goes forward, he starts to pull his weapon out. He braces his leg, and right as she hits him, because you hear it almost one right after the other, the shot goes off. And then in less than 0.7 seconds, he gets off the other two shots too. So between the time he's hit and the first shot to the last shot is 0.7 seconds. So the threat analysis is not knocked out because he didn't put himself in front of the harm. The harm came to him. The other guy jumps into a car, changing the threat analysis, which is why the threat analysis was too narrow in that case.
You recognize that you're analyzing this. They're saying that the moment of threat analysis is too narrow to examine in any case, right?
No, they said the moment of threat analysis got thrown out in this case specifically.
Yes. No,
Because
it's
of,
not.
because of what he did.
When the Supreme
not because
Court
of the
makes those
policy,
rulings,
it was a law.
it's speaking broadly about the examination of moment of threat
God,
analysis.
dude. God, you're not dumb. I can tell that much. I think you need to sit back, watch all the videos again, go and see some
No,
of these
what do you
other
disagree
lawyers.
with? Because you just repeated the
Review
moment of
it
threat
and
analysis
realize
of
just
this
because she
Renee
was
Good
killed
video.
is not bad. Trump wasn't there.
Did I say that?
It had nothing to do with Trump himself.
By the way,
Oh, I never
Judy's
said
not
that.
create danger. Murder case closed. Well, he did not create danger. I don't know what you're talking about specifically.
He did not walk in front of the vehicle.
Do you guys
Mark
acknowledge?
versus Felix, that's
If
what he's
anyone
talking
wants to
about.
join, drop a $50 super chat, or it's just us.
You guys
three. Go ahead.
acknowledge that when you're talking
all
about
these court
him
cases in
shooting,
that collab I'm telling you about. That's why I want you to watch them, Hunter. You're like almost there. It's just you want to refuse to see it for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason
no,
is.
it's not refusing to
I don't want
see
to
it.
say
I'm talking
TES,
about
but
Supreme Court
I know
precedent.
why most of the left won't see it. It's because of TES. I don't know about you.
Smash that like button, subscribe.
So do you think that the Supreme Court would say that, okay, the moment of threat analysis is okay to be examined
Jesus
through
Christ,
this
you sent
lens?
me a life history story here, Victor. He sent me the whole Supreme Court ruling on Barnes versus Felix. My last name is Barnes, so that sort of sucks.
So go ahead with your talking point. They said for me to shut up and for you to talk. So go ahead. Tell us again what we're missing.
When Kagan says that a moment of threat analysis is too narrow to examine a case through, do you think she's saying that it's too narrow in this instance or that in general?
Well, I guess since you said it was a Supreme Court thing, we can say in general. But how does that
Okay.
make it illegal?
I'm not saying that we're not even to that point yet.
It
Okay,
changes with each case because each case has different beginnings and outcomes.
Yeah, that's what I said. It changed with each case, but he said it's a
it
Supreme
doesn't
Court.
change with each case because they're saying that the moment of threat analysis is too narrow in
Take it to
general.
the Supreme Court. They're gonna laugh you out of the court.
You're telling me
They're
the
not
moment
going
of
to
threat analysis has never been used since this court case? Is that what you expect me to believe?
They would say that that's an unreasonable standard to base it on that alone.
In this case,
guys, which is why I want you to go watch that.
in this case, it was enough.
They explain.
I mean, I can just take a quick Google search and tell you if they're still using the moment of threat analysis, which I believe they are. Here, I'll tell you in 2 seconds. Let's see what it says. I'll tell you what it says. It says it's no longer a standard
Thank
in
you.
the U.S.
That doesn't mean it's not used.
What do you mean? That's not what?
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't change the outcome of this case. It just means they must consider all relevant facts and circumstances. So what relevant facts and
That's what I'm
circumstances?
saying. They don't have time to take everything into account. And it took him 7 seconds from the beginning of his video to walk around and have that other 7 seconds. It took less than a second, 0.7 seconds from first shot to last shot. Your moment of threat analysis does not give you time to say there's 12 cops over here, 1 cop over there, a good person over here, a citizen over there.
Exactly, which is why Kagan disagreed
that
with
amount
it.
of time. And the courts have gone through that part too. I forget the name of the case.
Yes, but that's why Kagan disagreed with it.
Where's your sympathy? A woman died? Well, she should have listened to that police officer and pulled over and got out of the car and put her hands up.
So what it says is
it's unfortunate she died, but do stupid shit, your stupid shit happens.
It requires courts to examine all relevant facts and circumstances leading up to the use of force, not just that split second. So he has that split second to make a decision. But
no, he had the events leading up to it.
He has no other way of making any other decision except for this 4,000-pound vehicle is coming at me.
No, you're narrowing it. You're doing the thing Kagan says not to do.
So how should we widen it? Say she's a Democrat and it's okay that she did it.
That doesn't. You can pretend to do this partisan thing. This partisan thing doesn't work.
If they take this complete thing away, at most he could be arrested for putting other people in danger, not for murder.
Are you against ICE picking people up altogether, by the way?
No, I'm not. Dude, you
okay.
You have to stop doing this with me, okay?
No, I'm asking.
You keep trying to narrow me into like this specific like group of people when it doesn't apply to me whatsoever. Like you started off before we even talked saying like, didn't you like ask to say the N-word or
I asked you a question.
I'm not like a normal liberal dude.
I asked you a question.
Threat received by the officer. A 4,000-pound vehicle is heading towards me. What do I do? All 3 of those standards were met. That is the relevant standard.
You're analyzing it
all 3 of those
from the
standards
moment of threat analysis.
All 3 of them.
You're doing
all
what
3
Kagan says not to do.
Are met.
No.
About the Barnes case. All 3 of those standards are met. Relevant factors, and those are the relevant factors. Severity of the crime, felony once you start fleeing. The suspect's conduct.
A felony doesn't inherently mean that is indicative of a threat.
And her condescending attitude.
It would depend on the type of felony.
Received by the officer. 4,000-pound vehicle is coming at you. What do you think that 4,000-pound vehicle is going to do to you?
Are you familiar? He's telling you right now what they replaced with the moment of threat with. Instead of doing that analysis, they have another analysis they used, and it met all 3 criteria.
Yes, it's the objective reasonable
criteria for it.
Which
I'm saying this isn't. It's not
criteria just fine.
That did not meet the
fact that she said that about her license plate. Already told you she was going to flee.
What?
You know where to pick us up tomorrow.
Don't worry, I'm not mad at you.
So because she like implied that she might have been picked up tomorrow, that means she is justified to be shot because she committed a felony? Do you think all felonies warrant that reaction?
Intent to flee a scene.
Do you think felonies inherently warrant that reaction? Do you think felonies warrant that reaction? Do you think
you're trying to word it the wrong way to try to justify and playing her as a victim. She's not a victim. She's an aggressor.
Do you think felonies warrant that reaction?
If anything,
yes,
her wife totally at fault for the whole situation.
Wait, Bureau, you're gonna say yes, right?
To what?
If a felony inherently warrants that reaction.
No, I said yes, it does if they're driving towards an officer trying to kill them. Yes.
Yet where he doesn't See the
I don't get where you don't see it.
Because they're
I
not
don't
driving
get where
it
you
towards
see
the
it.
officer, dog. What do you mean?
What do you mean they're not driving towards the officer? Yes, they were.
literally was driving towards the officer. Officer literally got hit. Officer got hit pretty hard. Officer was bleeding
Didn't get
internally.
hit pretty hard. Didn't get hit pretty hard. No internal bleeding.
Yes,
No
he
evidence for
did.
that.
Yes,
No
he
evidence.
did. I seen the
No
other
evidence.
video where he gets hit. He gets hit
There's no
pretty
evidence.
hard.
You have no evidence of it.
There's video evidence.
You have no evidence of him
Literally,
having
no
internal
evidence,
bleeding.
Hunter.
You have no evidence of internal bleeding, correct?
And I'm not going to have all these liberal news stations saying he was bleeding unless he was fucking bleeding.
You have no evidence for that.
He was out here in California, super liberal.
I don't know why you guys keep bringing up.
Socialist.
Why do you guys keep bringing up partisan labels? Nobody's talking about partisan labels, except you two. Why?
Because you want to take a side. I'm not taking a side politically.
You are taking a
I watch
side
all
by
this
inherently
stuff
talking
from
about
my
liberals
shit.
and how biased
Law
they
is
are
not
and how I
politics.
consume only
That is
liberal
law.
media.
She
When that's not the
hit the
case.
officer. It doesn't matter if she had intent to hit the officer.
Nobody
She
said
did
that.
hit
Nobody
him.
said that. Nobody said that.
The
You're fighting
vehicle was
demons right now.
pointed
You're
at
fighting
him. He
demons right
didn't
now.
run in front of the vehicle.
You're fighting demons right. You're shadow boxing.
All he needs is reasonable belief that he could be harmed or somebody else could be harmed, which did happen.
You're fighting demons. Okay. Someone is putting shadow puppets on the wall,
Somebody
and you're
go
acting like
demon.
they're real.
I don't know where you get the
Okay?
fuck off
They're
when
not
I'm
real.
fighting demons, dude.
They're not real.
I'm not
It's
fighting no
okay.
demon. I'm literally looking at the letter of the law.
You're grossly misinterpreting it. Okay.
You're stepping on like soft ass sand to accuse me of anything to start off with.
What do you mean to accuse you of fighting demons? Give me a break, dude. Come on.
Give me a break, dude. I went really super soft on everybody.
Aren't you like 60?
Talk to me
Chill.
like that. I'm not your bitch.
Like you're like
I'm not
you're
your
like
little boy.
triple my age. You're okay. You don't have to act so soft.
I'm not
Can we
your
add
bitch,
Victor? Can we add Victor? Victor needs to come in. Okay, Victor, hold
Yeah,
on.
I'm gonna let Victor handle this because Victor.
Hold on. Victor will moderate. Victor will moderate. Hello? Where's Victor? Victor's.
He's looks like it's still calling. It's still calling.
Why isn't he answering?
Pick up your damn phone, Victor.
He asked me to add him to the call and then he doesn't answer.
He's in Google because there he is.
Okay, there we go. How old is guest? I don't know. I think he's 25 or something.
Yeah, 25.
Victor, you there? Victor. Oh, can I hear them? Hold on. Hello? Hello?
You talk.
There you go. Now I can hear you.
Anyway, I made it so I can't hear the guest, so give me a second. My phone was on Do Not Disturb.
Let's get to 100 likes, guys. 97. We can make it. Double tap, subscribe.
Get our phone going here.
It doesn't matter if she did have intentions to harm him or not. The fact that he felt like his life was at risk is enough. You don't need intent for self-defense.
You don't even need life at risk. Just great bodily harm.
You just need bodily harm at risk. That's it.
I know I can't hear his reply yet, but just to make it clear, Time was referring to the news station as being liberal, not you.
Well, he was mocking the idea that I wasn't believing them because they're like
I was
not
referring
liberal.
to KTVU out here in California.
So
Was
you're
there anything
saying
else
you don't believe when CNN or MSNBC or any news source makes an article. You're telling me you don't believe that?
Not inherently, no. No.
Not even
I
if
look
they
at
tell
the-
you someone died or an ICE agent killed somebody?
I look at the evidence before I make a judgment.
What evidence?
Whatever evidence they provide. I don't know, like whatever example you can give, I'm gonna look at the evidence for it. You think that I'm just gonna blindly
The
look at an
evidence
article?
is DHS. DHS
Dude,
told
you
them. They
literally-
didn't make the
What
story
you're
up.
accusing me of doing now, or like alluding to what I do, is literally what you did earlier when you pulled up headlines of like 20 different articles. And you're like, is this not evidence? Is this not evidence? Is this not
When
evidence?
someone tells you something, when there's evidence from a government source, you don't trust it? Is that what you're telling me?
Not inherently, no.
So you don't trust any government statistics or numbers?
Not inherently, no.
So you don't
What's-
trust government? What studies do you trust? If you don't trust government statistics and studies, what studies do you trust?
But do you think you should just blindly trust the government?
No, I'm asking
your
you, do
position?
you trust studies and sources?
It depends on the study and source. What?
You don't trust any studies and sources from the government, though.
No, I'm not. No, who said that?
You only trust
Can you do me a favor, Euro, and get the camera closer or the stream closer to your phone?
It's already pretty close. Hold on 1 second.
I'll just have to see if it comes through on my end.
Hold on. Okay, let's see now. Let's see, maybe it'll sound better. I don't know. How do you base your judgments when the evidence is provided by the same people?
They're not provided by the same people.
That was in the comments. Can I hear you guys? Oh my god, it's cutting out horribly.
Like, real quick, is that unfair of me, right?
You're
To
fine, Victor.
examine.
Yeah, I hear
like,
everybody except for Hinter.
Test.
But we're gonna send him to Victor. You can talk to Victor. Victor's a great conspiracy theorist.
All right, Victor.
Not Victor, Frederick.
Conspiracy theorist. Come on now.
Is Frederick in chat?
Frederick. I
Yeah.
wish.
So what was your question?
Mine?
Yeah, you said quick.
Yeah, do you guys think that it's unfair
really
of me?
just jumped on to mediate a little bit, but
Victor, he's talking. He's talking, Victor. He's talking. Victor,
Okay,
he's
do you
talking.
guys think it's unfair of me
Alright.
to analyze media in the way that I tell you that I do? By not blindly believing the government, any news agencies, any
You said you
liberal
don't
news
believe
agencies.
government sources, so
I
yeah,
didn't say
that's a little
that. You
bit.
made that up. You made that
No, I
up. You
asked
said I
you
said
that.
it.
You said you don't believe them.
I said not inherently.
Not inherently. So what sources do you believe if you don't believe government sources?
I'm not saying I don't believe government sources. Why?
If you don't inherently believe government sources, what sources do you believe?
It would just depend on the source.
So
And,
you
like, what
can't
they're-
say any sources you believe in. You don't believe the government sources. You can't say any sources you believe.
Isn't this what like MAGA just like completely like rode the wave of when they
He
talk about
lost it,
independent
exactly.
media, about analyzing
I'm
things on your
asking you
own,
which sources.
about not relying on like big
Someone
studies or
said
like
it's public records.
What is? What are they talking about?
I don't know, but hospital records are not public records.
I looked up the sources. There's hundreds of sources.
For the person that had internal bleeding.
But what is he wants us to break a HIPAA law and go out and pull this guy's medical records out.
What are you
and
talking about
show
right
him.
now?
That's what I'm thinking.
He says hundreds of records.
It's
No
literally what
records.
it sounds like. You don't believe the government site. You don't believe all these news sites, which most of the ones I told you about are very liberal, including CBS. But you don't want to believe
So
anybody.
isn't it kind of
So
indicative that I'm not biased?
It sounds
That
like,
I'm
and
not
excuse
biased
me,
to like
it
liberal
sounds
sources
like
if I'm not
you only
trusting
want to
liberal
believe what
sources
you
on it?
think.
Do you think I'm talking about this specific instance right now, or do you think I'm talking about the fact finding like method generally speaking?
A fact finding method, generally speaking.
Yes.
You're saying you don't believe anything the government says or the news.
So why
yada,
stop
yada,
saying,
yada.
dude? Wipe that from your vocabulary. Nobody said that.
So why don't you believe it then?
Because I haven't seen actual evidence of it besides someone saying it happened.
So what kind of evidence do you need? You want him? You want his personal medical records?
I would expect like maybe like a photograph of where that injury was. I would expect.
You want a photograph of his bleeding, so that way you liberals can
of
go
his
on and mock
bleeding.
him all over
Are
the
they gonna
internet.
are they gonna shove a phone
Like I just
inside of
said,
it?
he
Wait.
wants to HIPAA violate.
Are they gonna shove a phone inside of him and take a photo to see the internal bleeding?
The only one that can show his you want to see his
I work
wounds,
in a hospital.
basically.
I know.
The only ones that can release his medical records is himself. No one else has
Okay.
access to it.
Cool.
If he doesn't want to share his medical records, he's not going to.
Cool.
If
Then
you
I'm
don't
just not-
believe him, then that's
cool.
called a conspiracy theory.
That's not a conspiracy theory. No.
It
It's
is.
literally illegal to get somebody else's medical records without their consent.
Who is saying to do that?
Since his business would know, it also becomes an ADA violation, which you probably don't know what that is.
If he is the one that is requesting this information and releasing it, it would not be a violation.
You can't release medical records without the.
Oh, you guys.
Were you about to say without the consent of the person whose medical records they belong to? Is that what you're about to say? Right after I
Yeah,
said
that's what
that
he
he
said.
would be the one that is going to be requesting and releasing it, is that really going to be your response? Do you think I'm going to disagree?
Why
with
would
that?
he release his medical records with all of his personal data on?
He can black out, dude. You guys are. Trump is like the motherfucker
So you
that
want
has
him
like
to
the
spend
Epstein
his own
files.
money to prove to you?
What?
You want him to spend his own money to
I would
prove
pay
it
for
to
it.
you?
I would pay for it.
Again, I don't hear this. Trump is what? Trump was out there with the gun himself, right?
He's gonna say something about the Epstein files, I'm sure.
You just said Trump.
Yeah,
So
with
what
the
did Trump
Epstein
have to
files,
do
he's
with it?
fully capable of blacking
Sitting
out
from behind
stuff,
his desk
just like this
miles
guy is
away,
fully
what did Trump
capable
have
of
to do with
blacking
it?
out stuff that is like too revealing of personal information, right?
Trump did not touch the Epstein files. That's not his job. That
Oh
would
my
be
God,
Pam
bro.
Bondi and
what
Kash
is-
Patel.
Again, what does FT files have to do with this case?
It's pivoting.
You're
That's what it
sidestepping.
is.
No, it's not pivoting. What do you think my analogy was to
pivoting.
that?
You're saying to black out his name. He's not spending his own money to
Case,
prove something to a bunch of
nothing to do with
libtards
this
that wanted to kill him in the first place.
So you fully understood my analogy and then called it pivoting when I'm not
It
talking
was
about.
pivoting.
It wasn't pivoting.
Why
It was
don't you
saying,
believe what DHS is saying? You don't believe anything that DHS says. You don't believe anything what the government says. But the minute they
wait, did you
tell
believe
you,
what Biden
the
said?
minute
Did you
the
believe what Biden
government
said?
tells you he
Answer this real quick.
died,
Did you believe what Biden said?
specifically what?
Anything.
Yes.
Okay, when he said that the border was secured, did you believe him?
Maybe to him it was secure.
But you didn't believe him. I know you don't believe him
That's a
because you're
personal
smirking.
opinion. That's not something that can be. That's not something that can be factually. That's his personal
Oh,
opinion.
it can't
That's
be
how he
factually
felt.
determined? So you think that the border was like
I mean,
secured,
in
right?
his opinion, the border was secure. Was it secure? No.
Okay, so you disagree with him, right? You don't believe him.
Can you guys hear me? It cuts out really badly in a three-way call. James says, Graham, are you saying we should just accept at face value the mainstream media and the government narrative, even after Russiagate, Jan, COVID, and Biden? No, I'm not
To
saying
be
that. But
clear,
when they tell you something,
he is. To be clear,
when they
he's saying
tell you
that.
something very basic, like this person got killed, this person got their internal bleeding, this person got hit by a
What
car,
about something
now they
basic
have
as in
internal
like Trump
bleeding.
supporters went and rioted at the Capitol?
Can you guys hear me?
Do you think that's basic?
Yeah, we all agree that they went there and they protested. Yeah, can you hear
No,
me?
rioted. I said rioted.
Okay.
Define rioted.
Hunter, did you look at any of the information that I sent you?
I saw a bunch of Minnesota law links that wouldn't be relevant to this case. No, or there might be other stuff. I'll check.
Yeah, I would.
How would it be relevant after you're the one that said it wouldn't be relevant because it's going to be contested in a federal court?
When you see a car hit someone hard,
But it's going to be the county suing him, and they're going to go off the state law.
But
oh
you
my
said
God,
earlier
you
that it would
guys are
be
cutting out
contested in a
fucking
federal
terribly.
court.
I want to smack this guy.
You guys are cutting out terribly, and chill out with that.
We're trying. Just, Hunter, please, for the love of God, look at the case files that I sent you. I even sent you a Grok summary of the case that you were trying to pull up. And I sent you the full case of that as well for the source.
Yep.
So Grok could use it. Grok could use
Yep,
it.
and this is exactly what you linked is exactly what I have been saying this whole time. Thank you.
Can I hear you guys? Oh my God. I'm just about to pull it off on my phone. Hello? Did you guys hear?
Every single thing that you have brought up, the assault, the battery, the fleeing and eluding, everything, I have sent you Minnesota penal codes because Minnesota's laws would be dictating how this case is looked at.
Not if it's in a federal court.
They're still going
It
to
may be done by a federal. It may be done by a federal court, but they are going to use the state statute of where the.
Oh, you cut out again. Holy fuck. Hello? Hello? They're gonna use the state statute. Go ahead.
Yes, they're going to use the state statute where the incident occurred for relevancy of the case, because training dictates based off of which state you're in, even if you're a federal officer.
If you're a federal officer, your training is going to be federal.
They are still federal when it comes to cases like this, because it is a vehicle, not a
It's going to be
federal.
the county and state coming after him, so they're going to use it.
There's two different jurisdictions. There's going to be a state jurisdiction and a federal
I'm just gonna
jurisdiction.
hop on to my phone because I don't know what's happening with the computer, and it just cuts out every 2 seconds. So I don't know. Hold on 1 second. They can probably explain it better than me. So hold on. And I hear what they're saying, but I want to let them finish their talking points. Okay, hold on. Hello, Victor. Can you hear me? Hold on. Hello? I can't hear you.
I'm not talking. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear him? Yeah, I can hear you. You there? If it's just gonna be you, then I'll just call you Victor. I'll just call you. I think it should work if I just call you. Hello?
Hello.
Okay, hopefully it doesn't cut out now. I think we can hear each other. We're almost to 100 likes. Double tap, double tap, double tap.
But I'll bring up what happens with my state. In my state, the state laws are what controls traffic, and as well as firearms. So, for example, when it comes to my truck, I could technically turn right on red, even if there is no sign saying that I can't. However, if there is a no turn on red sign, I cannot move until that light turns green. That is not a federal law. That is a state law. State laws will overwrite what federal laws go when it comes to a vehicle. And in the case of Minnesota, they have a law that says you must yield to pedestrians, which is anybody in the roadway. When it comes to the shooting, however, I haven't looked, but there is a use of force that I sent to you in the Minnesota penal codes. They'll probably use that because that will dictate his training and his shooting etiquette in that state.
But it won't, because he's a federal officer.
Doesn't matter that it's a federal officer.
It does matter, because they have different regulations and standards.
Yeah, his regulations and standards would come from the people who trained him in that state.
They didn't train him in Minnesota.
I believe he did. He operates out of Minnesota. They don't just send him all the way over to Washington, D.C. just to get trained.
He's a federal officer. He's going to have federal regulations and stuff to abide by. He's going to be under the jurisdiction. That's why earlier the Time Dude or whatever said that the federal law would trump Minnesota law, that it would most likely be taken up to a federal court.
Hello?
Hello? He said it was. Did you hear what he said? Sorry, it disconnected again because it said my phone connected.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
Can you say it one more time for him? He didn't hear.
Yeah, I was saying that's why earlier Time specifically said that it would most likely be taken up to a federal court.
Did you hear him, Victor?
Yeah. No, I'm going to listen to
He said that's most likely why it's going to be taken to a federal court.
the federal court probably would take it for the legal jurisdiction of the suspects. He would definitely begin an internal investigation, and that would be federal because he's part of ICE. But when it comes to his shooting, it would be more likely the state takes it.
An in-agency investigation is a different process than a court, like a court case being pursued. Those are two different things.
Yes, but the laws that aren't in federal state that Minnesota has been usable only by which the feds will have to negate Minnesota. Victor, did you want to say something?
The internal investigation, whether it is what punishes him, it's still what they would use to find evidence based on the shooting.
So in what instance are they going to be using state courts?
I'm sorry if I interrupted, but I'm just going to put it out there. There are several people in the law enforcement community on YouTube that have justified the shooting, as well as criminals on YouTube that have justified the shooting.
But what is this? We are talking about the state courts taking over this case, which isn't relevant because, well, originally you asked me if I saw the stuff that you cited me, and then I said, yeah, I did cite it, but it wasn't relevant because it was Minnesota state law. And it sounds like we're just talking about how it's going to be led up to the federal case anyway, or the federal courts anyway, so it's not going to be relevant to Minnesota state law anyways. So I don't understand the point in this.
If you want, because I'm trying to mediate. If you want, I can look up federal codes for you too.
No, I don't. The federal codes aren't necessary right now. Like all we're talking about is that when you're saying you're telling me to look at my DMs, and in my DMs I see a list.
Didn't you say, Victor, that the state laws are going to be used in the federal case?
Yeah, I did, and I still stand by it. Just like in a traffic infraction, you're going to use the state laws because the state laws are more defined for that state than the federal laws. So that's the same way with traffic, the same way with guns.
When it comes to firearms, and
they are registered in the feds.
Wait, let's say I do grant that. Okay, real quick, Hero. Let's say I grant that. How is that disagreeing? How is that disagreeing with anything that I said about this being held up in a federal court?
The permit for my handguns comes
Because
from
you're saying state laws aren't going to be used in the federal court case. That's wrong because
That's not what I said. You keep making shit up that I
then
say.
why
I'm
do you
saying I
keep
said
why,
it.
why are you arguing with him saying you're the one saying it's a federal court case, it's a federal court case. So why are you saying the state laws are insignificant then?
Because he's sending me a list of laws and saying that I need to check my DMs because
Yes,
it
because they're going
contributes
to
to
be used
this.
in a federal court case.
No, it's not going to be used in a federal court case if a federal law supersedes it.
This is vehicle law. When the federal government tries you, do they take in consideration state laws for firearms and vehicles? Because
It's
that's
a
what
vehicle.
Victor's
It's a
saying.
vehicle used for what? By your
Murder.
standard. Okay, quote unquote murder of who? An ICE
Attempted
agent,
murder.
right?
Sorry,
You
attempted
say
murder.
that she tried to kill the ICE agent, right?
Yeah, Victor, would you like to explain better?
So
You're the one that did the research on this.
federal ICE agent.
Hold on, I'm looking up the federal penal code now for use of force. It is the policy of the Department of Justice to value and preserve human life. Officers may use only the force that is objectively reasonable to effectively gain control of the incident while protecting the safety of officers and others, in keeping with the standards set forth in Graham versus Connor, 490 U.S. Code 386, 1989.
Yes, Minnesota state laws and constitutional claims like the 10th Amendment are essential to the state's federal lawsuit against ICE.
Okay, and now if I go ahead and take the
Policy is not law, Chuck Pike. We've been saying that the entire time.
Which I've never disagreed with, by
when
the
I
way, just to be
off
clear.
directly from the penal code for the Department of Justice. So
Black conservatives are growing love God and family. Yeah, dude, don't say that around the liberal. They might call you like an Uncle Tom or some shit. I've seen it before with my own eyes.
Real quick, you acknowledge I've never said policy is law, right?
I mean, I don't know. It sounded a bit different.
How do you not know after I've clarified it like 20 times?
Well, you clarified it, but you kept telling me that policy was going to be used in court.
Yes, to determine reasonability.
No, a policy cannot be used in court to determine reasonability.
How?
No, it cannot be used in court to determine reasonability.
I didn't repeat my question. I said how.
How can policy be used in court?
Because if there's guidelines that are required to be followed by agents and they're not following those guidelines, then it shows their reasonability.
What? It doesn't matter because there's reasonability because the car is driving right towards them.
No, it's not. You're going back to what Kagan disagreed with you on. You're talking about the what was the exact terminology? The moment of threat analysis. You're doing that right now.
Just because the policy says something doesn't mean that there's not danger of life. It doesn't mean that self-defense is not defensible. There's no law saying that.
It does if they meet the standard of unreasonability.
It's not unreasonable because even if the policy says not to stand in front of a car, he wasn't standing in front of the car. And if he was, the car drove right towards him, but if he was standing in front of the car, it's irrelevant because his life was still endangered.
This is literally that. Have you guys heard of the narcissist prayer? Have you heard of that before?
I have an 88.
I couldn't hear
you.
you. What is it?
All right, so this is the summary of Graham versus Connor. Ready for a unanimous court, Reinhurst ruled that an analysis of an excessive force claim should consider whether the search or seizure was objectively reasonable, based on how a reasonable police officer would have handled the same situation. The specific intent of the individual police officer who executed the search or seizure should not matter. While improper intentions do not make a reasonable use of force unconstitutional, good intentions do not shield the officer from liability if their use of force was objectively unreasonable. Thus, the Supreme Court rejected both.
Wait, why are you throwing your hands up like that? Why are you widening your eyes? Did I ever say that?
The 14th Amendment prohibition of cruel and unusual punishment should apply.
What part of the officer's intent doesn't matter? Does not get.
Did I ever say the officer's intent matters?
You're saying his intent of standing in front of the car changes it from self-defense to murder because it's unreasonable.
It also says here the 8th Amendment.
This proves your own fact.
I've never said that.
Can I continue? Because that was about half of what I have to read.
Okay, keep going, Victor.
In deciding whether an officer used excessive force in a certain situation, a court should consider similar factors to those described in the earlier decision on Tennessee versus Garner, which we've already discussed that one. These include the severity of the crime, any threat posed by the individual to the safety of the officers or other people, and whether the individual is trying to to flee, which she did, or resist arrest, which he also did. Case commentary. This case helped shape police procedures for stops that involve the use of force. An officer cannot justify these actions based on a hunch or by showing that they acted in good faith. Instead, they must carefully articulate facts and events that made their use of force objectively reasonable under the circumstances, which would be the camera footage that we have.
Do you think that disagrees with anything I've said, or I
Yes.
don't understand? What does it
Intent of the
disagree with?
officer does not matter. What
Did
part
I
of that
say
do you
that?
not
Wait,
understand?
did I say that? Did I say that?
So you're saying so what are you saying then? If his intent, if you're saying his intent was to step in front of the car, and they're saying intent doesn't matter, then
I
what?
didn't
What
say
do you
his
disagree
intent
with?
was to step in front of the car.
Then what's your point?
I'm saying that he did step in front of the car, that he did surpass like the negligent
If
standard.
he stepped in front of the car, that means his intent was to step in front of the car. What are you talking about? You're saying he doesn't have bodily control over his legs, and he just magically did it? Of course, that was his intent. If you're saying he did something, that was his intent to do it. You think you're saying he walked in front of the car on accident? Then that means the reasonable cause would still be there.
What you're implying when you're saying that is that you think that I am saying that he intentionally stepped in front of the vehicle so that he can use
So you're
that as
saying he
justification for
unintentionally
self-defense.
stepped in front of the vehicle? Clarify your claim. You're saying he unintentionally stepped in front of the vehicle?
I'm saying he negligently stepped in front of it.
Is negligence not intent? Does that mean he didn't intend to do it?
There wasn't like much thought into it.
So he intended to step in front of it. He wasn't thinking about it. There you go. His intent doesn't matter. Ding, 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 ding,
Did
ding.
I
ding.
say intent matters? What did I just argue with you on?
Yes, you're saying
he didn't intend on doing it.
You just admitted he did.
No, you
he
said
never
that
stepped in front of the vehicle.
You said that I said it and then acted like it was an own. And I didn't.
It wasn't own because nothing about the case you're talking about is relevant.
How is it not relevant?
Because
nothing
doesn't matter.
Nothing about the case that
if you do
cited
something,
me.
It's an intent unless it's an accident. There's no way you can say it's an accident. Because he didn't step in front of the car, firstly. Second off, you never said it was an accident. So the intent doesn't matter. Unless it was an accident. It doesn't matter if he was thinking it through or not. Just because it's negligence doesn't mean it's not your intent.
I've agreed with you this entire time that the intent doesn't matter. I don't know why you're citing it to me as if it's some like...
Okay, then I don't know why you're telling me that he wasn't thinking and that's why he did it instead of acting like the intent mattered. Okay,
because I think he was incredibly negligent.
He didn't step in front of the car. We've already shown the video. The car
I think he fell incredibly short of the reasonability standard.
No, he didn't.
He did. And I know he did because you're about to analyze it from the threat of force analysis or whatever, the moment of threat analysis. You're about to cite that to me as if it's some sort of own after we've discussed this several times.
We just talked about intent doesn't matter.
What do you... Okay.
This is the House of Representatives. I can take this. Give me a minute.
We've already talked about Kirby versus Duval. If he wants to talk about that, they can. If the vehicle's about to hit him,
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Could we talk about the U.S. Code for obstruction real quick? So obstruction would be part of this case?
Is obstruction about to justify like the shooting, or is this going to be completely irrelevant?
Just as a moderator, as a mediator, I'm just giving you the code. I'm not going to dictate what your guys' opinion is on it.
I never said obstruction justified it, but the fact is, if she didn't resist arrest, she would have been alive.
Yeah, if the officer didn't violate the policies that were put into place to prevent instances like this from occurring.
Who committed crimes? Answer the question. Who committed crimes and tried to kill the other person?
I would say that both
did the officer resist arrest?
Is that the only crime that can exist within the circumstance? We
already named you like 4 or 5 crimes that were committed.
Okay. Do you think that what crime do you think I'm alleging the officer committed?
I just want to read this.
None. That's why I'm confused.
No,
You're basically telling me that the ICE agent wasn't there doing their job.
No, he wasn't doing his job. He wasn't doing his job.
He was doing his job.
Wait. Tell me, what does doing their job entail?
Can I interject here?
Go ahead.
No. Let him finish. Wait, let him answer.
You're stopping someone that was impeding law enforcement.
Okay. Do you think that when you're doing your job, you have to follow standards and procedures?
Is that against the law if you don't follow?
Did I say that?
He never stepped in front of the car anyway, so it's
I'm
irrelevant.
not talking about that. When you do your
And if he
job, are
did
you
step in
supposed
front of the car,
when
it's
you're
not
doing
against the law to
when you
kill
do
him.
your
There you
job,
go.
are you supposed to follow procedures?
Yes, so he could get
Okay,
fined.
so when he's not following procedures, he's not doing his job,
He didn't
correct?
step in front of the car though.
I'm
so
not
he
talking about
was
that. When
following
he's not
procedures.
following procedures, he's not doing his job, correct?
Yes, is that a crime? Is that
No, I'm not
if
saying
you're
it's a
not doing
crime.
your job, does that give you a right to not have a right to self-defense? Is that what you're telling me?
No, I'm not. Hold on. You're jumping way too far ahead. I'm trying to see if we agree on like basic fact, right? So whenever you say that he's just doing his job, is it a crime to do his job? I'm not saying it's a crime to do his job. I'm saying he's not doing his job. I'm saying he's going above and beyond to not do his job by putting himself in these
He
circumstances.
didn't put himself up in these circumstances.
He
We watched
did.
the
He
video
did. He
10
did.
times.
He did, and you just admitted
You
that he
couldn't
did
even
because you
give
said
him
he's
a
not doing his
rebuttal to
job
the
because it's not
fact
even
he
following the
was
proper
staying in the
procedure, right?
same place on the sidewalk on all angles. You
He
cannot give a
wasn't. He
rebuttal for
wasn't.
that.
You admitted that
He
he wasn't.
was. No, I
He
didn't. You
wasn't.
admitted he wasn't moving.
I didn't.
You said even if he wasn't moving, that still doesn't give
What does even if
self-defense.
mean? What does even if mean?
I don't know. You said that countless times. You said
Even
even if
if
I agree with
means
you.
even if
Even
means
if,
that it's like hypothetically, even if he did this, that means I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that assessment. It just means hypothetically, even if he did.
I don't agree with you. What else do you want me to say? We've been over this case from
That's not
head to
talking about
toe.
agreeing with each other. I'm explaining the difference. I'm
What,
explaining
Victor? What
English.
is it? What do you want? What's up?
He looked up ICE's policy for use of force if you'd like to hear it.
We've already talked about that as well, but go ahead. Read the use of force policy.
This detention standard authorizes the staff to use necessary and reasonable force after all reasonable efforts to otherwise resolve the situation have failed for protection of all persons to minimize injury to self, detainees, staff, and others, to prevent escape or serious property damage, or to maintain the security and orderly operation of the facility. Staff shall only use the degree of force necessary to gain control of detainees and under specified conditions and use physical restraints to gain control of a dangerous detainee. This detention standard does not specifically address the use of restraints for medical or mental health purposes, which is addressed in a different policy.
Okay. Is that it?
That's all I want to read.
All right. I don't know if he has a talking point he wants to say about that, but
No, it agrees with me, so I'm chill with it.
policy. I mean, it didn't
Are
say
you about to say
anything about.
policy isn't law?
It
Are you
didn't
about to
say
say policy
anything
isn't
about
law?
not
Are you
stepping
about
in
to
front
repeat
of the
it?
vehicle.
Are you
Did it
about
say
to say
anything
policy
about
isn't
stepping
law?
in front of the
Wait,
vehicle?
be honest with me. Be honest with me. Were you
You
about to
didn't
say
step
that?
in front of the vehicle.
Were you about to say that?
Well, yeah, I was going to say that because you say it every time
Okay,
you say
yeah.
you say the policy's going to be used in a courtroom and he's going to be found guilty of murder.
Yeah, it
No, it's
would be
not.
used in
You can't claim one single court case where DHS policy was used in a court because it's never happened because they throw it out because it's garbage.
it's
Policy is
used.
not law. It's not used for reasonable whatever. Is that what you're about
It
to say?
is
Think about?
absolutely it is.
No, it's not.
So if you're saying that somebody is there to do their job,
And
and you
because they
admit,
threw out intent in the Felix Barnes case.
and
They
you
threw out
admit they're not,
intent
and
right
you
out. You
admit,
admitted
and
that
you
already.
admit, and you admit they're not doing their job, you don't
They
think that's
are
going to be
doing their
considered in the
job.
court of law? No,
They
you
are
already
doing
admitted.
their
You can't
job.
walk it back. You already said
I
they
told
didn't.
you 100 times that he
You
did
already
not
said they're
step
not
in
doing
front
their
of that
job. You already
car. I
said it.
never said it.
You
Now
already
you're putting
you
words in
did.
my mouth.
You did because earlier, whenever
And
I
you
said
already
that, like
said you don't believe anything you read in the news.
I
So
didn't
I
say
don't know
that.
what to tell
You just have to make shit up to make it seem
You're
like I'm like
making shit
more.
up right now. I'm telling you, I'm not saying it, and you're telling me I'm saying it.
You can retract it, but earlier,
No, I'm
did you
not going
not
to
say?
retract it because you keep saying
So
I
you,
said it. I didn't say it.
okay,
Every single time you said that, I said he was doing his job. He did not step in front of the car. The car
okay, yes or
pulled
no?
out in front of him and tried to hit him.
Yes or no? Did I ask you earlier if doing your job entails following procedure?
Yes. So what are you trying to advocate?
Okay,
Saying he didn't do his job?
yes or no?
He
Yes
did
or
his
no?
job.
Did you agree with me? Wait,
Yes.
you
Now
agreed
you're
with me
trying to say
earlier.
he didn't do his
You
job.
agreed with me earlier when I said that he didn't
We're
follow the
getting
procedure
nowhere.
this
You're trying to
way.
put words in my mouth. What else do I got to tell you?
If you want to retract it, that's okay.
I'm
I
not
don't care.
retracting anything. You're putting words in my mouth.
I'm not putting. I'm
If you
repeating
just
back
want
to
to
you.
say that you were wrong and she pulled out in front of him, it's okay. You can retract your whole argument. You can become conservative. It's never too late.
Do
Okay.
you think?
You
Do
were
you agree?
wrong.
Do you
I
agree?
proved you wrong. Time proved you wrong, and he proved you wrong. Now will you
They
retract your
haven't. They
argument?
haven't. They haven't.
Yes,
Do
we
you agree?
have.
Yes or no? Do you agree?
Yes,
Yes
we
or no?
have. We
Do
could.
you agree? Yes or no?
It was.
That you said that he wasn't following procedure.
It does not negate his ability for
I
self-defense.
didn't ask
Yes.
that.
Does it negate his ability for self-defense?
It could.
No, it doesn't.
Ever.
Policy does
Ever.
not
It could
negate
never.
your ability for self-defense. You're wrong.
You think it could never?
Yes, never.
That is such an absurd take.
Because they
Okay.
said, according to Barnes versus Felix, intent doesn't matter. You literally said it yourself.
I've never disagreed with
These two
that.
statements are contradicting. Do you
They're
not
not.
realize it? You just looked up like this and you realized it was contradicting. I
What's
saw it in your
contradictory?
eyes. I saw it in your face.
What's contradictory?
1 minute you say it gets rid of reasonable belief of self-defense, and the second you say no, it doesn't because it's intent. And we already agreed intent
I
does.
never said it was
Does not
intent.
count. Well, when you
Right?
say the reasonable of self-defense, you're talking about his intent.
No, I'm not.
Apparently, two guys decided they want to, instead of letting her leave. No, apparently she decided she wanted to kill him. But can we get to 100 likes? I think I'm about to wrap up. We're just talking in circles now. There's not much more to discuss on this case. We just disagree, I guess. She definitely did not follow command. She was told several times to get out of the vehicle, and literally, what was this?
Wait, so
Literally
if her
was
not
taking
following
shit.
commands means that it warrants her death.
Okay, every time we point out that she was a criminal, you say, well, does that give you the right to kill her? No, it just means she should have listened and not trying to run him over.
Sure, and I wait, I can agree with that.
And
As long
stop
as you're
saying,
agreeing,
oh,
as long as
it's the fact that she's a
agreeing, as
criminal,
long as
does
you have
that mean she couldn't kill her?
same standard for DHS agents that are like completely violating their procedures.
Procedures don't matter. They're not laws. Policy is not law. Is your only defense saying policy, 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 policy?
Did I say policy is law? I'm gonna ask you for like the 30th
No,
time.
but you keep saying it's going to be used in court. What court case has it ever been used in? If you don't have something to show for that, I'm just going to say this debate's over. There's
Okay,
nothing
here,
to talk
hold on.
about.
Yeah, I'll find one.
Can we
Wait,
get to
also,
100 likes?
hold on. In this Supreme Court case, they're inherently using the policies to determine the reasonability standard. Inherently,
What policies are they using?
whatever policies are abided by in this like police department.
So you can't tell me of the policies they use, but you're telling me they're using a policy.
I've
Okay.
cited you policies from like the DHS, and you said that doesn't matter.
What policies from DHS? Which ones were used in this
The
case?
ones where it's saying that they shouldn't like stand in front of vehicles. The ones that
Was
you
that
read
in the
off earlier.
Barnes versus Felix case? No, it wasn't. It's
Did
irrelevant.
I say it was the Barnes v.
You said
Felix case?
you said
Or did I
policy
say
was used.
wait? Did I say
It wasn't
DHS?
used.
I said DHS, right? And then you said what
There was no
DHS
policy
policies?
used. Okay, there's no policy used in any of these court cases. All right, I'll give you another minute. If you can find something, then we'll talk about it. But you're not going to be able to. Instead of arguing with the same stuff we've already been arguing about, find something new and give me some
But you just
facts.
don't understand any of it, like fundamentally.
No,
That's
you
why you had
just
two
don't
people come up here and
fundamentally
argue on your
understand. You
behalf
keep
for like an
saying-
hour.
You just keep saying policy, policy. No, the policy's not. Literally, according to your own information you gave, policy cannot be used.
My own information is the Supreme Court case that you cited last night to the person you were arguing with.
Yes, and we've been citing and reading over it. We've given summaries of it.
How do you move
I've
on
given
so
you a
quickly?
summary of it.
How do you
He's
move
given
on
you a
from
summary
saying-
of it. Time's
How do you-
giving you a summary of it. And every single one of us come to the same conclusion.
Yeah, every single summary
What
that you
part
guys
of it
have
am-
given,
what part of
agree
it
with
am I
me.
missing?
Agree with me. Thank you.
What part am I missing?
The part where you keep analyzing it from a moment of threat analysis, which Kagan
I
throws
said
out.
if you for the 3 points, it fits the 3 points. Yeah, that was the other thing they used. It fits the 3 points for justified self-defense. So what's your point?
It doesn't fit the 3 points there. For one. For two, we're talking strictly
It
about the
does.
moment of threat analysis that you keep examining.
Yeah, they throw that
That's
out.
what we disagree about on the Supreme Court
points.
case.
That's
That's
why
what we
they use the
disagree.
3 points.
That's what we disagree about on the Supreme Court
That's
case.
why they use the 3 points, and that's why it's justified self-defense.
But when you're not even using the 3 points, you're saying, oh,
We already
When you-
we already said 30 minutes ago when time was on the phone that it goes off the 3 points.
I'm saying that
That's
whenever we
what you're
talk about
missing.
this,
It fits
you're
the
talking
it fits
about
everything.
examining it.
It fits all of it.
You're
All
talking
of
about
the law.
examining it from right before he gets hit, which is a moment of threat analysis.
Yes,
so you
it
keep
fits the
going back.
moment of threat. It fits the 3 points. Would you like to go over the 3 points again? Since
Quit saying the moment of threat. This is thrown out. This isn't a standard.
okay, then we'll talk about the standard they use because it fits every single standard they use. What were the 3 standards they used? Go ahead and tell us, since you know so much about it. Because I don't
What do you
feel
mean
like
the
looking
3
it up again.
standards they used?
What? The 3
What do you-
standards for self-defense that they use in this case.
They don't have a defined set of 3 standards.
Yes, they do, but
They
I guess you're making me
explicitly
look it up
say-
again.
They explicitly say here. Where is it?
You don't even know what you're talking about.
Dude, I guarantee you, I know infinitely
What
more
3
about this than you
standards did
seemingly
they
know
use?
how to.
I'll
but
tell you
despite
right now.
citing the
Since
same
you don't
court
want to look
cases.
it up, I'll tell you.
Go for it.
What 3 standards did they use? Let's see. The 3 core factors The 3 core factors: the severity of the crime, it was a felony. The imminent threat, the car was coming right at him. Actively resisting arrest or trying to evade arrest, it fits that as well. That's the 3 factors. It fits
Do you
all
think
3
that?
factors.
No, yeah, and I'm telling you. Well, okay, for one, there isn't a. It says explicitly that
Have
there
you
isn't
read
a
the
mechanical. That there isn't. That there isn't.
case?
Dude, I don't know why you're asking me if I've read it. If I'm the one that's citing you some of the shit from this, like I don't understand why you're
The
asking me that. Why are you
minimum
bothering to ask me that?
consideration within totality. Three core factors from
What
the
are you
case.
reading this from?
I'm reading this from the summary of the court case.
On what? Are you talking about the thing that I linked you?
Yeah, no, not the thing you linked me. I'm talking about the Supreme Court addressing the standards for evaluating police use of deadly force. I'm talking about the standard the court case talked about. What you sent me was a very shitty summary. I'm using another summary of it. There's three core standards they used. The severity of the crime, which is a felony. Second, imminent threat to safety of officers or others, which there is. And number 3, actively resisting arrest or attempting to evade arrest. You're telling me it doesn't fit all 3 of them?
No,
You're wrong then.
I'm not wrong. I'm not.
Which one of those does it not fit?
The severity of the crime. Do you think every felony warrants would fit that?
It doesn't matter if it's a felony.
What do you mean it doesn't
it's a severe
matter?
crime.
You're talking about the severity of a crime.
Yes, it's a felony.
Do you think they mean severity of
And
a
it doesn't
crime?
matter if two out of 3 of them are checked, then that's self-defense.
If they made
Only one of them has to be checked.
if they made jaywalking a felony,
imminent threat
hey, if
or
they made
safety to
jaywalking a
others.
felony, if they made jaywalking a felony, would that be
Is
justifiable to murder this
jaywalking a
person?
felony? Are you coping
Yeah.
right now? Are you
I'm not
coping?
coping. I'm asking hypothetical. If they made that a felony, do you think
No,
that would
there's
be
no
warranted?
hypotheticals.
There's no hypotheticals. That's how you analyze
You're just
law. That's how you
making shit
analyze
up. We're
justice.
talking about law and facts. We're not talking
Yes.
about hypotheticals.
That's how Supreme Court justices come to their decisions, with hypotheticals.
Yes, if she was jaywalking and she jumped in her car and started driving towards the officer and fled arrest, if that was the only crime
She wouldn't be
did,
jaywalking.
yes.
How is she jaywalking and
No, I
driving?
said if. You said hypotheticals, yes.
Then why'd you involve this other thing?
What other thing?
The vehicle.
Because evading arrest or resisting arrest and the imminent threat?
With jaywalking, if that was made into a felony, and all the other
And
two
in the
components.
case, by the way, if you read the actual case, when it talks about the severity of the crime, it's not talking about if it's a violent crime. It's talking about if it's a traffic violation, a toll violation, a misdemeanor, or a felony. It's not talking about if it's a murder or a mass shooting or a killing. It's talking about the criminal statutory punishment for it. Is it a misdemeanor, a felony, or is it a traffic violation or something like that? So they're not even talking. They're not even talking about it.
What are you reading?
I'm reading this from the summary. Do you want sources for it?
I would like whatever you're reading, because it doesn't. I don't know what.
I mean, Wikipedia, Harvard Law Review. There's a bunch of them. I mean, this is an AI overview using all these different sources.
Yeah, feel free to link that. Yeah.
I mean, it gives 18 sources, and it's an AI overview. I can send you the AI overview. Here you go. Hold on. I'll send it to you right now. There you go. There's the AI overview. Click on that. It'll open it up for you. Example, minor traffic / toll violations. And it was, you know why they took it, you know why they said it met all 3 of these things in the Barnes versus the other guy, whatever the case is called again, because it was a serious felony. They didn't take into account for anything violent. They just took into account to the fact that it was a serious felony. They didn't take into account if it was a life-threatening felony, a violent felony, or anything like that. I mean, just glancing over the court case and scrolling through it is not going to prove anything. You got to read multiple summaries like I have. And it fits all 3 core factors. And even if it doesn't, it only needs to fit the majority of them.
Are you saying the minor?
No, I'm saying that's an example. It says example. Yeah, you're reading that part? Example, minor traffic toll violation versus serious felony. No, a toll violation is not a serious felony.
That's a very different caveat than what I was mentioning earlier when I said you think that the entirety of the existence of a felony warrants this reaction? Which
Yeah,
obviously
it's part of the 3 core factors. Yes.
serious felony by your own source. Serious
Yes,
felony.
serious felony.
That's different than a standard felony.
What's a serious felony?
It's probably going to be more severe crimes that are like more.
What serious felony did the guy that was driving away do? Evading arrest?
Well,
I mean, they literally said it in their own words. Did they not say the officer met all 3 criteria? What serious felony did he do other than evade arrest?
Dude, even in this the thing that you just
Hitting a
cited
federal
me,
officer is a serious felony, by the way.
in the thing that you cited me yourself, it goes on to debunk the moment of threat analysis that you're just now citing about the fact
I
that the case
just
of the
told you I'm citing you the new analysis being used, the 3 core factors, the 3
Yeah, I
core
see what 3
factors.
standards did they use. I see that prompt, and then I see it go
Yes,
on to talk about
that's what we're using. We're not talking about the other thing, okay?
Dude,
We're not talking
the 3
about
main
it.
standards
We're not
referenced
talking
in
about
this
the moment of threat. We're talking about the 3 core factors.
When you're citing this, I see
Go
the
to
3.
number 3. Yes, you see the 3 points. That's not what I'm talking about. Go to point number 3. They talk about the 3 core gram factors. I mean, the pivot is crazy. I'm about to hop out of here. I mean, we already talked about this.
The minimum considerations within totality,
while not a separate standard,
while not a separate standard, but key guideposts embedded in the totality test. The court and the sources repeatedly highlight these as requiring at least consideration of the severity of a crime.
He met all 3 points. He met all 3 points.
This isn't a.
I'm out of here, guys. Adios, everybody. Have a good night, man. We've been over this already.